Welcome to the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmoedown podcast. Introducing your hosts, Justin Hamilton, Ferris Muthana, Vidor. Now, let's get ready to talk Schmoedown.
What's up, guys? What's up? How is everybody doing tonight? Tonight's going to be a little bit different because we're going to the Great White North. Yes. That's what I think they call it there. I like to, before we even get to that part, and I'll start bringing them in because they're going to be involved in the whole show, I'd like to thank the Canadians for two great things that they have accomplished in this world, and that is Trailer Park Boys and Letterkenny.
Trailer Park Boys is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it's very amazing. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce the boys from the North first. We got Dave, eh?
Hey, how you hosers doing?
We're doing pretty good, and we got this one guy right here that's he's one of the best. He's his name's Taco, and I love Taco, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love him.
Good day.
Good day.
We're up here in the Great White North. We're just invading America. That's what we're doing.
And for right now, last but not least, I am not good. Well, I probably can remember it, but I am going to introduce Miss Nancy, the nerdier of the Chronics,
and also the co-host
of
A Fan's View of the FCO.
Yeah, we got it.
All right,
man. Good job.
This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun and a great because, like, literally on the screen right now, we have 3 countries represented. That's what the Schmoedown's become, like, right? So, like, it's not just about your neck of the woods or where you live at particularly, and especially not just an American thing. Right now, we're showing on this one broadcast that the world actually has remnants of liking the Schmoedown and wanting to talk about the Schmoedown and everything else. And that's, of course, talking about the Brazilian Danny and Dave.
The best Brazilian.
Dave from Canada here. The rest of us, if I'm not mistaken, are American. So we are represented nicely here. But yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Canadian. If you can tell by the hat and the koozie and the this Canadian. The two.
Hey man,
flannel.
Like, I knew he was going to the Great White North, so I went and got my scarf and my beanie as well tonight to be able to.
Beanie podcast, I like it.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like
tonight.
Toques.
We do.
By the way,
I was saying it for our Americans.
By the way, I'm trying to enter Canada next year, so this is basically the zero mission for me. To make you guys accept me to your country. Your country is going to be better with me there.
This is your audition.
I am the sole decider in all immigration cases, so this is very important for you.
Yes, exactly.
Will this count towards a work visa if you just monetize this and say you work for Canadians?
Taco. Never for you.
Yeah, technically, I think I can use that. Like, I worked with Canadians before. Here's the proof. So
there you go.
All right, guys. Well, we had an event tonight. That's the main reason why we're here. We do our shows normally on Friday from the very beginning, but then they started doing pay-per-views on Fridays, a lot of Fridays. So we get together, obviously, and talk about them after the pay-per-views have been aired. And so I'm just going to get overall thoughts about the pay-per-view, and then we'll start, like, talking about some of the matches and some of the things that happened in said matches. So let's go around we'll start with Nancy, ladies first. Like, what did you think overall just about the pay-per-view in general?
One word. Amazing. They were so good. This is exactly what I wanted from a pay-per-view. Both matches, in fact.
Nice. What did you think, Taco? Hey?
Dave's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna drop the shtick.
Oh no.
It went exactly the way my heart wanted, but not my head thought. So actually, maybe not. I thought I wanted Deception to win in here, but I really wanted Final Exam to kill, and I didn't think they could. And holy crap, I'm so glad to be wrong. So
nice. And what did you think, Dave?
This was one of those pay-per-views that I really like to see, where it was competitive the entire way through, but it wasn't just answering questions. I was thoroughly entertained from Ethan first putting on the hat to Paulo Yama screaming in victory at the very end. The entire way through, I was just loving every second of it.
Nice.
Nice. And Danny.
Look, Justin, as you know, I lost all my predictions this today. So, yeah, yay, that was nice. But to be very honest, I think that this pay-per-view proves a lot of stuff that we have been talking about for a very long time now this season, that basically the game has changed for a lot of these teams. You know, you have like take final exam, they were perfect. Like Rushmore played a good game as well. So every single time we have these matches, even though they are not like title matches, they're not first contender matches, dude. The game is in a high level. Like it's very tough to pick a team for either of those matches. So I like what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, like on the tailgate before the pay-per-view started, we do that on Twitch like every time before a pay-per-view if we get the chance to. And today we did one. I just reiterate the fact that like it's ridiculous. I think especially during the corruption like post-game interview, like they mentioned it a couple times there. Like this team's division is like crazy good. It's crazy good with a lot of like crazy, just good competitors across the board. Like, and I even mentioned it early on in the season. Like, a lot of people always said, "Oh, like your teams are really like an A and a good supportive B player that can get you through some stuff that the A player may not know. They can step in and do those kind of things whenever needed." And the biggest thing with me is like that's not the case, man. Like now, if you don't have A's across the board, like you're not going to win a championship. There's no team right now with an A and a B player that's actually going to win the title. It's only going to be the A player. So if you're a team and you're an A and a B player, like maybe you can get some wins. Maybe you can almost get in the picture, right? Maybe you can start that journey, but you're not going to make it all the way, I don't think, because this is like crazy how good like the team's division is. And it's kind of sad that we're in like still in this, like, even though it's starting to get better and everything's starting to open up back up a little bit and all that kind of stuff. Like we're still kind of in this mode of like where we have to do digital, and we know that like Christian doesn't love doing a lot of digital like teams matches. And with that being said, like I just think we're kind of getting robbed a little bit just because of the fact of how good this team's division is, how many good teams there are. And if there was having more matches, we probably would even have a bigger pool of even just more and more added teams, right? So because people aren't going to focus on it as much, because you're probably not going to get as much teams matches. But like it's like we haven't even seen like Barbarian and Craig like team up with someone yet and like actually have matches. And I just think that'd be awesome, right? Like so with that being said, what do y'all think about like the teams division? Like follow up on what I was saying, like do y'all agree with that, or is it like more of nah, man, maybe it's not as good? Because to be honest with you, from top down, I think the teams division might be more deep than even Star Wars, and that's something that we know for sure. The Star Wars division is pretty deep.
Yeah, it's crazy that I think every season we say, wow, I can't believe that the teams division has been this deep. I remember when the Patriots were still champions, they're like, man, the teams division might be the most difficult division right now. And then it's building and building from there to now. You look at teams that were dominant even 2 seasons ago, and they wouldn't hold a candle to any of the top 5 or 6 teams that we have right now. When in the main event of tonight's throwdown, both teams broke the overall team's record, and one of them lost. Like that's not something that happens. Both of these teams almost scored 40 points in a 3-round match. 40 points barely shows up, or 39 points barely shows up in 5-round matches. And this is the kind of play that we're looking at. Not even like Canadian Danny over here was saying, not even in another one contender, just on a road to something. So this is, I almost wish that we were, like you were saying, we were getting more teams matches, because I think there are some great teams out there, but because of the digital format, most factions can only have one faction playing unless you're Corruption or the Quirky Mercs.
Yeah. Anybody else? Like, what do y'all think about the team's division overall, man? You got something? Taco?
I do got something. Well, I feel like it started off with like IG or Star Wars last year, where it was like, wow, this division's on a whole other level. No one's ever seen any play like this. You miss one, you lose. And then it was like IG towards the end, and then the beginning of this year, where it's like, wow, this division's on a whole other level. You miss one and you lose. And then singles came up, and it was like, oh my God, look at everyone's play on singles. If you miss one, you're going to lose. And now it's like that team. I think it just happened throughout the entire league where everybody's on the top of their game and everyone's taking it serious. Everyone has a faction that has each other's backs. It's not like the old days. One dude had to study, so it rose it up, and before you know it, everyone's taking it super serious. So I just think of it not really as just teams, but it's everyone's just throughout the entire game is playing better. But now with the idea of factions of I can draft the 10 people I want and put the top 2 people and then figure out who works the best and like put together a perfect team instead of just like, hey, they used to do podcasts together, so they're on the team. Like in the old days, now it's like, let's find this person, find this piece that matches. And that's why I think the teams are just working so much better. It's just all of that. It's like a well-oiled machine now. And now you're seeing 3-point matches score better than the old team championship matches. Yeah. Like by a lot. Like I remember, I'm not going to name names because I'm going to get the points wrong, but it was like a championship match where I was surprised they broke in the 30s. We're at 39-38 on a 3-round teams match. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah.
Anything to add, Nancy?
Yeah, I definitely want to see more teams matches. And what I love about teams matches is that you see that interaction between the 2 competitors, and I feel like that just gives it a lot more entertainment than sometimes the singles matches. And I think it's interesting that you mentioned the whole A player versus B player, because Guy actually asked that question, which I thought was interesting because what are they going to say? Oh, yeah, Marisol over here is the B team player. You know, it's kind of like, well, yeah, of course, everyone's an A player in these, these teams matches. You have to be, because otherwise it's like, like we've mentioned, like the game has really stepped up in these matches. So everyone, to me, everyone is an A team player.
Look, a good way to summarize all of this is, I think all of us 5 would agree that Deception is one of the best things in recent years.
Yeah.
And their record now is like 2-3, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the era that we live right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I could easily see a team like Deception back in the day, like winning a championship easily.
Destroying.
Right, yeah. And now they played in the tournament last year, which was their only matches they had that got a chance to play. And then they came in this year, and because they look so well and both of the players singly are so good, they're put up against the best teams, right? They're not able to like start off from the bottom and get some victories and stuff. So like all their victories, their record is all 5 of their matches has been like tough matches because they're playing against people either inside of a tournament or they're playing against one of the better teams because like we look at their play. I mean, look at what Adam Collins did last year, what Marisol did last year. Like Paul Oyama, if I'm not mistaken, had to go perfect basically to beat her in the tournament last year to put her out. And then like now we got her definitely on the way to get a number 1 contender shot with the singles title. And you also have Adam Collins. He wins it from Dan Murrell and then he loses it. But like now he's got to be clearly on his way to another number 1 contender's chance, at least have to win a match maybe or whatever to get to that spot. But like he's also, so both of these players on this team is in the hunt for an actual title now. Like they're in the title picture now already. And to see them get beat, you're just like, man, like how good do these other teams have to be? And we'll go ahead and start, talking about that match. We had Deception playing in their first match tonight, in this little like mini tournament, you could call it, to try to like maybe earn a spot for like a number 1 contenders. And they went down there. They didn't do too much wrong. And that's kind of like symmetrical through this pay-per-view in both matches. Like the team that lost didn't do a lot wrong. They made 1 or 2 minor mistakes, which opened the door. And the other team just wasn't making mistakes, period. When it says that Lightning Time came in and played well. Now, Lightning Time to me at the beginning of the season, when I knew it was probably going to be Ethan and Liz, together, I thought they were going to be the shot in the dark, right? Like, because you had all these established teams we already knew about, and everybody was excited about Merle, and Bateman teaming up and all that. So not a lot of people was talking about Lightning Time. Always thought that they possibly could come up and be, if not one of the best, but the best team, just because Ethan and Liz both of them are cool, calm, and collected, and they know their stuff. And they kind of proved it tonight. Yeah, they proved it tonight. Like, if they play like they did tonight, they could almost beat anybody in the game at any given time. So the only thing in this match, like, that we can talk about specifically as far as like something that happened that was not really questionable or like a controversy, but there was that moment in the second round where they were kind of stumped on one of the Star Trek questions. Yes. And we had Marisol like say, well, I don't know, but I think it's possibly this, after they went step down to the 1 point to the multiple choice. And she was technically right. And then they ended up going with Adam Collins' gut instead of her gut. Like, what did y'all guys think about that moment in the match?
It's rough.
I just thought this is vindication for me, because I've been saying on our show for a long time, Marisol's the best player in corruption, and I was happy
take a
to
drink
see
of your
that.
beer. Every time he says that, we take a drink of our beer.
But
I love
Collins wouldn't
Marisol.
fight that. But Collins has said that. It's not, he would agree.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing about the A player is anyone would say Collins is the A player, but right there, Marisol had the right question. Like, she knew it, and he stole it. And I know he probably feels like just a complete butt face of like taking that, and then like I would feel like crap if I like, no, let's go with mine, and then it was wrong. That would stink.
Yeah.
But that happens also often with these high-level players where you get in your head and you're like, I definitely know what this is, especially after they've been running through Star Trek so well that you get to this one and you're like, if you both feel really confident and you've checked down the multiple choice and they're both there, it's really just who talks last when you have both such powerhouses. And I don't think that there's even anything much to like discuss there, because I don't think it's like a show of like cracks in the armor or a chemistry issue. It's just one of those things that
it was a flood.
I wonder if in studio, if they were able to like lean over and actually talk to each other more, if something like that would have happened.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
That is very true, Dave, because like the environment can change, because let's face it, the best teams are the ones that don't have like internal like competition. Hey, let's see who is better in here. Like this whole A and B player, like this is something that we fans created in the narrative, like to try to, hey, these are the best teams because they have the best players individually speaking. But now I think that Schmoedown has evolved even in the digital format to a place that if you're going to have a team, if you're going to compete in the teams division, everybody has to be the A player. You can't rely on just one person.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I do have a couple of Streamlabs. One from our personal. We've adopted him as our own. He joins us in the Discord. He was actually in there right before we started the show tonight. And that is a great Canadian by the name of Rob Snark. And he says, guys, as per Canadian law, half of this after show must be spoken in French. Now,
I can only speak Portuguese.
I don't even know what French is. Like, I can't even start to do it.
I know
I was able to speak fluent French until I was 20, and then I got a concussion, and I can't speak French anymore.
What?
Wow.
Not even. And guys,
Wow.
it wasn't doing anything cool like playing sports or anything. I'm 6'5", and I went over a speed bump a little too hard.
Wow, dude.
And now I don't speak French.
That speed bump took your French.
I've done that before.
I can't be prime minister now.
Dude, you hit a speed bump so hard. Like, I've done this before, man, so I feel your pain. You hit a speed bump, man, a little too hard, right, or a pothole or something, and your ass leaves the seat, right? And when you're taller, like I'm 6'1", so like Dave's still taller than me, but when you're taller, your head actually hit the top of the car. Yeah. Bro, and that crap hurts, man.
So,
it hurts.
I'm 5'1", so I don't know what you're talking about. So.
You're saying English is just brain damage French?
Wow. Okay, I want to make a note
There you
right
go,
now.
there you
That
go.
was said by one of the Canadians, eh?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally
Victor, and
Canadian.
I'm sorry about that. Snark, I'm sorry that I won't be able to do this in French. Sorry.
Snark called
But-
me out on the chat during the match. I said, "Hey, us Canadians." He's like, "Shh, he's American. He's a double agent." I was like, "What the heck, Snark?"
Wow.
Shout out to Snark. We love him.
I love Snark so much. He's just right above me. He's in Winnipeg. Just right up.
Yep. And one of another one, we had the second one coming in from our homie Dagan, as always shows up, man, for us. He's got one. What's up, y'all? Shannon will be in a tough spot if Corruption doesn't win the titles. Who does she put in the tournament? Deception or Mike and Chance?
Yeah.
And he had to add also, how about them Tampa Bay Lightning? Sorry, I had to. I'm guessing that's a hockey reference.
That's
I know.
yeah.
I was like,
You know,
Oh no, hockey!
Well, I can't believe
I've always
he
hated
does
Tampa,
our Canadian teams like that. Oh man.
hey, you know, I'm a fake Canadian. I root for Detroit, so
fake Canadian.
And
Look,
I do want to put this out there. It's probably our best compliment we've had in a long time from the Galaxy Geeks channel. This is my favorite. This is my first time watching this show, and it looks really good.
Aw.
Yeah, man.
Wait
Thank you.
until an
Galaxy
half
Geek.
hour later.
Yeah, thank you, Galaxy Geek. Thank you, Galaxy Geek.
Thank
But
you.
but that was an interesting question by Dagan.
Yes.
And they actually talked about it a little bit in the post game stuff, after the match, and it does bring up there's a tough decision to be had, because if Corruption can't win the belt, right? So if they go up in that match and they don't win the title, now there's two great teams from that faction that has a chance to go through a tournament. I don't know, man. It would be a weird decision for me.
Yeah.
Which one for me to put in? Who do y'all feel? What's your gut feelings?
I almost feel
Mike.
like you have to go with experience.
You have to go Corruption, and
You have to go
it stinks
experience.
because you're ruining. No, because Deception deserves more matches because they're 1 and 2. They have a losing record. They need to play more. But if I was Shannon, I would piss off the other two people and put in Corruption. I'm sorry, I'm gonna piss off Dave because he's Marisol McKee fanboy, but it's just.
I mean, I
How
don't
I
know if
feel.
it's about pissing people off, but
No.
you have to go with experience at that point. I feel like, and it's not that Deception doesn't deserve it or they're not good
Yeah.
enough. It's just in that situation, I feel like you have to go with experience.
Also, Chance is just fire this year. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put anything in the way of Chance this year at all.
Best
Mhm.
pound for pound player in the league.
And he didn't do
Oh, yeah.
the free for all,
Yeah.
So give him
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I remember.
Right, man. I mean, do you have a preference, Dave? Where would you go with this?
I would almost say it really depends on, is Mike Kalinowski still Inner Geekdom champion? Because if he's not,
Interesting.
I might do what the Finstock Exchange was threatening to do last year. And I might just say, because there's going to be changes to the league next year anyway, Chance, you're going to play with either Marisol or Adam, whoever's not close to a single
That's my
title right
idea
now.
as well.
Thank you, Danny. You get me. I've always gone along with Danny.
That's the route, bro. Because I don't know if that's legal. I didn't read the fucking rule book, but
I think it is.
if I was Shannon, I would do that. In the
Because-
case that they lose they can't get the titles of Shazam. Do that.
Yeah, and
Break both teams and create a new one.
I honestly though I think Corruption will beat Shazam just because I don't think Mike Kalinowski has ever lost challenging for a belt, but
Yeah, that is true.
That's an interesting fact right there. If it is truly,
I know.
a fact.
I know it's true about Dan. I don't know if that's true about Mike.
I'm trying to think it
I think just teams. I think he's lost challenging for teams before.
Well, here goes
But
the thing, man.
Also,
No,
the idea of
challenges for
beating
teams
Shazam
never.
is an insane. The idea of beating Shazam is like climbing a mountain without oxygen. It's not an
Yeah.
easy task. And even for Corruption, I don't like Corruption as a faction, but I drafted both Chance and Mike very high in 2 of my leagues, so I apparently like them as a team. And I definitely think that they can do it, but it's not easy. No one's gonna do
Listen.
it like a breeze.
yeah.
I really even though it was kind of tough doing it during digital, and I know Christian's kind of done gave up on it. I don't think he's going to do anything until they get out of this digital age as far as story and stuff. I actually liked some of the things they were doing with story and stuff, even digital.
Mhm.
I liked what they were doing, even though it was some people in front of a camera or whatnot, doing things back and forth. I thought they did, a good job of what they could do. but I'm a bigger fan of like natural story.
Hmm.
Like I'm a huge fan. Like one of the biggest things that I've gotten into, like as far as like just heated passion, was like Demolanta going for the belt for the first time against Damon, and like that story that he had of like he tried to get there, and he got knocked off a couple of times. Then he finally was able to get to that point to where he had earned a spot. And like, can he grasp it? Right, it's like right there in front of him. Can he get it? And that stuff was going on, and that natural story was so big to me. And that's why I would probably pick Deception to go into the tournament, because I had said earlier on the tailgate today, like, how cool would it be that not only do you have this lady, because I think Marisol is going to take Smith out. I think
for sure.
I think she's going to wipe the floor with that guy.
I would bet my last 100 on that.
After that match, I almost don't care who's going to be the champion. I think Marisol is a good enough player to beat any one of those. Now, maybe she needs a little luck, because those guys are super skilled, no matter who it is that has a belt, whether it's Ethan, whether it's Dan Murrell, like it's going to be a tough match for her. But I think she could beat any of those people that are around that title that may have it when she gets her chance. How cool would it be to not only have the first female competitor to win the singles belt, but also have the chance, and to do it if they could, put the strap around her shoulder on the other shoulder as a team's title holder at the same times. Now, I know like somebody brought up in the tailgate that Cushing did it with IG and teams, but man, like being the first female competitor to win the singles title and get the team's title at the same time in the same year would just be like amazing. It would be like wall breaking.
And even better if Dan still has it, because it's just something special about taking it from Dan Murrell. Like the idea of toppling him. Like, I'm not taking anything away from any of the champs. Like, they're all amazing. But like that's what made Oyama was, he won a couple singles matches against like some other rookies. So he beat like JT or something. Whatever. And then he beats Murrell. We're like, never mind, he is amazing. Like, and that's like, the idea of taking it from him is always special. I think Marisol has the ability. I mean, I mostly agree with Dave that she is something special. I don't know if she's the best player on Corruption, but she's really good.
I like this take, Taco. Like, it's like Dan Murray is the Shokan of the Schmoedown Mortal Kombat. Like, he's the final boss.
Oh my God! Now you're speaking my language. Oh my God.
He's the final boss you have to beat. Like, it's a rite of passage for champions. Like, you have to beat Dan Murray.
So you beat Mortal Kombat 4 and just beat Shinnok? Who cares? But you beat Shao Kahn in number 3? Yeah. Now you're playing.
This is my favorite show.
I know that Nancy has something to say about this, especially because, I mean, look, let's take into perspective. Like, she's a female fan of the Schmoedown, right? Like, so this is going to be something.
I didn't notice.
This is going to be a big thing for her, even bigger than for us guys, right? Because to have that first thing happen. But right before she starts speaking, check this out, Taco. That is death hands right there, baby. That's death hands.
No,
I learned every karate and kung fu move that I've ever known from Ricky O and from Black Dynamite, man. These hands right here. Look how fast they are. They're so fast they're blurring my camera.
You remind me of that scene from Blazing
I'm
Saddles.
sorry for that, guys.
You remind me of that scene from Blazing Saddles when he's like, check this out. And the guy's like, wow, you must be a heck of a shooter. He's like, yeah, but this is my shooting hand.
Yes.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Yeah.
Please, what do you think about Marisol becoming the first female single champion?
Listen, I think she is definitely on the road to that. I would say, though, that Marisol is a team player. You look at what she did today, and she, even after, we're discussing the round 2 situation, even after that, she is saying, I would not want anyone else by my side other than Adam Collins. So I think she would even say, whoever is the best players that we can get in here, let's do that. I happen to think she is one of those players, and that she should be in there. But again, it kind of is up to Shannon, the manager, who she wants to put in there. But it would be great to see her in there. I think she really is at the top of her game right now, and I think she should be put in as much as possible. Honestly, But again, I think she's a team player. I don't think she would want it to be like, I'm a female. I could possibly be the first female, this and that. So put me in there because of that. She wants to be known because she is a fucking badass, if I can say that on here.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. Because she even said when she played against Janine, she's like, this isn't about two female players going at it. This is about two elite players going at it. So I think she deserves to be in there. Absolutely. But it's going to be however things play out a little bit in, these matches coming up. So.
And look, I have this question as well before we go to the next match. Like, if you see what happened with Oyama after he lost the belt, if you see what happened with Erwin after he lost the belt, like, it took a little time before they got back into like title contention again. Do you guys think that maybe is happening with Adam Collins as well?
He hasn't had a chance.
Yeah,
Give him a match, and then we'll see.
Yeah. That's been one of the weaker things that I think's went on is like this dude undefeated, went through the entire tournament and beat Dan Murrell. That's almost an impossible feat. And because, then he turns around and he loses it to Dan Murrell.
As a play-in.
And Dan Murrell gets it back. Yeah. And with that being said, it's like, dude, I missed that dude singles. Like, and I know we've been setting it up with other people, right, to try to earn a number one contenders. And I know you don't really want to like rehash over and over again, the same like 3 or 4 players and all that. So I know why they kind of put it to the side a little bit, but at the same time, I'm sitting here like, dude, Adam Collins is obviously showed that if he's not one of the top 3 to 4, maybe even top, because we don't know, right? Like, so if he gets another chance at the title and say it's against Dan Murrell, and he was able to take it back from Dan Murrell, and now he's on the top of the echelon again. So that's pretty crazy. And it's just like I said, and Marisol to me is almost like not almost like let's put the things together. Like, especially if you look at the Deception as a team, Marisol is just as good and sometimes even better than Adam Collins.
Well,
absolutely.
Hambone, may I please? I got notes. I wrote notes down. So let's actually look. I'm a note guy. But so they both missed question 4 round 1. So that was both of them, right? So both of them missed the question. And then she missed one more question in round 1, question 7. But I would, of course, and I'm assuming everyone would agree, Collins missed that round 2 question, right? Because she had it right and then he stole it.
But that's why she's a team player, though. That's what I'm saying. That because she's never going to be like that was his fault.
They missed equal. Is what I'm saying. Is that they're as equal as, in my opinion, especially if you're looking at this match, he cost more points than she did. Not saying he's a worse player because he's freaking Adam Collins, but I'm just saying you can't say he's a better player than her, especially just looking at this match.
Yeah, there's no A-B player dynamic anymore.
They went almost exactly equal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but don't you also think that's kind of how the Schmoedown goes in terms of like you can be a flash in the pan so quickly, even if you're a great player like Adam Collins. Like if you if you have a really good, great season, number 1 coming out of the gate, and you don't produce in that second season, it's almost like, okay, on to the next thing. Just because of the way, especially when they're modeling it after WWE and all the storylines and all that, it's like once you kind of falter a little bit, then it's like, okay, we got to go to the next thing. So.
Let's talk about flash in the pans. We spent half an hour talking about the losers of this match. But
true.
Lightning Time.
Wait, Lightning Time won? That wasn't on my notes.
That's true.
Another fantastic team and another amazing. We're giving Marisol all these props and stuff, but Liz also was like in the dance movies category.
Yes,
he just was killing it.
Dark horse of the league.
That saved them so much. So she missed 3 questions, but he got the bonus, which helped them. But she killed that. They went perfect in that round 2, and they got that steal. That's what saved them. That round 2 was so that changed the match. The match could have ended. They both got all 3 afterwards, but that match could have ended after round 2. That was so definitive Lightning Time.
That round 2, let me tell you, was so stressful. There were so many questions answered at the very last second or like down to the wire. But that also shows you how well of a team they are, because it was kind of like, well, I want to repeat. Well, I want to, go to multiple choice. And they were kind of like back and forth very quickly. And then it was just kind of like, well, here's my answer, and then the other person was like, oh, well, I guess go ahead. And they ended up getting them right. So yeah, to me, it was a little bit of a more chaotic round 2, but it ended up well for them.
Nancy, the only person more stressed out than you was Sam Levine, because when he came back after round 2,
that's for everything. That's just
it looks like he had lost 40 pounds from just stressing about we're saying it's 50-50 and we're taking it. Why are we spinning again? Oh my God. And now I'm off the screen. You can just imagine what he was doing in the green room underneath.
You have to give to the guy.
He's such a crazy little man. Oh, that little guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
you have to give to Sam Levine, because recently the usual suspects are winning. Like after a few times always losing, they're having a comeback. Who knows what might happen?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like going into this season, I have picked Liz to possibly be my pick for the first woman to ever get the singles title. Like we were just talking about with Marisol. Marisol's got the chance first, because it really hasn't worked out this year, whether it not be she hasn't gotten enough matches or whatnot, but like she hasn't been able to do a huge amount in the singles this year. But Liz is like, she is super great. Look at what she did with the tournament last year. Like she actually almost, she took Adam Collins to the limit, almost beat him. Like she knows her stuff. And like I had for some reason remembered like she had gotten something with dance movies one time. So I knew she was pretty good. So I wasn't stressing out at all. Like I knew she'd probably do pretty good in this category, to be honest with you. I mean, anybody that knows all the Step Up movies, you might as well give them all the points whenever they know that. Like, that's just ridiculous. She was naming them all, doing all that thing. But, like, just the fun-loving nature of Lightning Time is just amazing. Their little promo they did where she brings the hat to him in person and everything else. Like, you can really see that these guys truly are. Like, sometimes people embellish about a friendship, or they'll say, like, I know somebody, and maybe add years to it to make it sound more impressive. But you literally can see them on screen, and that 20 years of friendship that Ethan's talked about, that they've known each other for like 20 years and they've been friendly together for a long period of time. And like I said earlier, like when you see this team together, it is like every match, no matter where they're at, they look like they're just chilling in Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? On the beach, doing a match, and they don't care. And that helps them out a lot. And that fits their personalities and everything else. I actually think if Ethan had someone, and I just don't know how good Liz is this, because she actually does. I don't know how good she is when it comes to animated, but if she knows animation okay or decently well, like I said, this team could have been like super dangerous. I think we're starting to see it today. But I do think there is one reason why we're talking about deception. It's just because of their players being able to possibly go for belts in the singles thing, which makes their a team to talk about. But also, you did have a team, they got opponent's choice and was able to be there to the end, to where they forced the other team to answer a 5-pointer. And that's really difficult to do. And they were able to do that. And so that's one of those things, like people's like Star Trek. But I was like thinking to myself, like, bro, they don't know Adam Collins, because my man's done told us a couple times he could possibly jump an IG tomorrow.
I would love that.
I was like, oh, dude, like, no, they messed up. But Adam Collins has said that he's focusing on getting the belt back. And he said after he gets that belt back, like the singles title, that he could possibly throw his name into some IG stuff. So, and that's pretty interesting in itself, right? Like him actually going to 3 leagues, could he be one of the best that's ever done it? Because he's another guy. Like, this guy knows all kinds of stuff, and it's like scary how much the dude knows. But I just think that we are talking about like coming out of it deception, just because of all the key things surrounding it, right? But Lightning Time deserves their time, and that's why I'm glad, Dave, you brought it up, because we did spend a long time talking about the loser of this match. And think about it, they got opponent's choice and they still scored over 30 points. And we were talking about how hard it was to get 30 points, and they did it with opponent's choice. So pretty amazing.
That is crazy that we had 2 matches and all of them, the losers scored over 30 points.
Yeah,
like
33,
that never happens unless Whitney Seibold is playing. And for some reason happened twice tonight.
Yeah, that guy. Shout out to Whitney.
Where's Whitney?
Shout out to Whitney, man.
Exactly. Where's Whitney, Nancy? Give us Whitney, coward.
Hashtag where's Whitney?
Free Whitney.
He's right over here. You guys want me to get him? He's hanging out. No, I actually wanted to bring something up of what you were saying about Lightning Time. Stop trying to switch it over to the deception there, Hambone. But geez, we talked about him enough. Uh,
Well, I love that Collins. Everybody knows that.
whose show do you think this is? This is the Takeover. It's Canadians.
That's right.
Technically,
But-
Brazil is winning Canada, but okay.
I live in North Dakota, not even Canadian. All right, but no. So what I was gonna say is, it's the complexity of teams. We've known, like we've been shown that two great singles players doesn't equal a great team. We've been shown that two not that great singles players can equal a good team. But something that can't be taught is the camaraderie that Liz and Ethan have. They don't need to really speak to each other. They have a friendship. You know, me and Dave have been friends for like 20 years, so I get that. What do you say?
Wow.
Haven't even been friends for a year. I don't even think we're friends now.
Still not friends.
So the point I'm saying is that's what always gives them the edge in my eyes is the fact that they have something every other team meets each other through the Schmoedown and needs to build that. You know, they work with each other and try to build that camaraderie. These guys don't got to. They can just work on knowledge because they have that built. They already have that.
I can't wait to see this team, Lightning Time. I can't wait to see them in studio because you know they're just going to have a great time sitting at the desk, sitting next to each other, laughing.
Great set of hats.
Great.
And in terms of gameplay, you get more time to confer with each other, right? Because in the digital era, when they repeat a question, you can't talk repeating the question, because a lot of times when you repeat the question, it's not necessarily to hear it again, it's to like, okay, let's talk about it more during that time. So
some teams talk over them. They don't give a crap.
Then they get
repeat anyways what I was saying.
It was Liz last time when she had her match, she was like, oh sorry Mark, I'm talking over you, but anyways, and she kept talking.
I think Outsiders did that this last week where they're like, repeat anyways, and then the other guy like stopped at whoever it was. I think it was Guy, but he was like stopped. It's like, no, you can keep going. Like read it. We're just gonna talk.
Yeah,
that's one of the downsides of being digital because you can't do that in a studio match. Like, hey, let's talk and make Alice repeat the question 3 times. But it's kind of funny. I understand why Christian is not that enthusiastic about teams in digital format.
I get it.
There is and we always talked about this like last year. There is a cool thing seeing those people talk to each other, see their thought process, seeing if their guesses are right or wrong. You know, it's a different kind of experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss that personally. That's gonna be one of the things I miss from the digital going back to studio is like their actual interaction on what they say, because like you know how like on the edge of my seat I was at the one point in that second round when Deception was going over that one Star Wars question. I'm not Star Wars, but because I love Star Wars, obviously the Star Trek question. Like I was kind of on the edge of my seat because I knew Marisol had it right. Like I knew she was right, but then like Adam Collins says what she said, like what he said, and then she's like kind of going to his side, like, and I'm like, no, let him have it, don't let him take over.
Guy's gonna eat him up for that too.
Right, and you can't like that's the thing. Like when they go back to like in the studio, that's going to be something to me. That's going to be something I wish that like we could still have in some kind of capacity, but there's no way we could do that unless they microphone. Maybe they can microphone a manager, and then like when the manager goes up there and talks to them, but still, that's not when they're doing the questions in round 2. So that's one of the things to me that's going to be like something I miss is that part of it, because that dynamic of the team actually you being able to hear the team talk with each other. Yeah. It's like I've always assumed in most cases, like say 90% of the time when they were in studio before they ever went digital, that basically this is how it went. Like say me and Danny is on a team together and we're in the studio, right, sitting right next to each other. And I lean over and I'm like, hey, Danny, yeah, man, doesn't Carnival start like next week? Yeah, that's going to be a fun time, Danny. We're going to have so much fun. Because like that's what I assume, right? Like it's going to be random talk. Like they're probably not even talking about the answer. But in digital, like you find out that, nah, dude, they're probably actually literally going through in their mind like what's happening, and to see
there is a thought process there.
Yeah, but there's been like multiple times in these teams matches to where they're talking and you're like, oh my god, this guy's about to get it, this one doesn't know that much about it, and then this one probably says something, and then this one's like yeah no, it's this like that aspect of it, like I'm truly going to miss when it goes back to studio.
And but not only that, but go ahead, Nancy.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't remember who it was. It was someone on some show, so forgive me. if you're watching and it was your idea. But someone had mentioned like do it like the NFL in terms of when players are mic'd up and they release it later on afterwards. So you can hear what was going on between the players, but it's not affecting like when you're watching in the moment, which I think would be great.
You know
especially
what?
like the XFL. Oh man,
you could hear everything in the XFL.
That was
I don't know what the XFL is. I've only watched.
No, the
We
XFL,
have football here. We also have football.
What you got like Money Mandel? Like, go and get a real football player.
Taco, if you can keep your drink up a little bit, you imagine a guy that looks exactly like Taco in the XFL. You could hear him hitting on one of the cheerleaders.
Yep.
Hey, baby.
So where are you going after this? You allowed to date the commentators? I went Brooklyn there for a second.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell you're doing.
Jay, wait, it wasn't you. It was someone else. Sorry.
I actually want to speak something. What you were saying there, Canadian Hambone. I'm also Canadian, by the way. Dave isn't.
We all are Canadians tonight.
Yeah. But no, what I was saying is, sure. I think that's. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I think that's a selfish way of looking at it, and I agree selfishly. But I do think it's got to affect the players of the difference between I'm whispering in my friend's ear to everybody can hear me. Now I'm thinking I don't want to sound like an idiot. Now I don't want to say something that's I do feel like that does affect. And as much as I agree, I do want to hear what people are saying. It's super cool. So, but I do think that it does affect, because if I have I'm like 10% right, but I kind of want to say it, I'm not going to say it now because now everyone on the internet can see it. And I might look stupid, or something like that. There could be a million of reasons why you might doubt yourself now that you're saying it into a camera opposed to into your confidant's ear secrets.
But what I was gonna say is that was also a point of a strategy for some teams. Like they pretend they are talking.
Yep.
But they already know the answer. Like that's a Bateman Teams version. Like you know the answer like 3 seconds, but you use the entire 15 ones just to pretend that you don't know the answer. Just throw off your player.
Yeah.
You can't do that in digital format anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
And well, I mean, technically you can, but you have to be a little more sneaky about it. But like no, that's true. That is one of those things. Like I love studio stuff better. But Nancy brought up a really great idea that they're going to have to ship on down to one of our friends. I call him the Magic Man, Nerd Chronic. Eric is like, hey, that's a great idea, right? Like you can actually like mic them up, but you can't hear it during the thing, right? Obviously, like it's just mic'd up to where it just records it, but doesn't blast it out on speakers, right? And then when they actually edit it, they can take them voiceovers. And like when you see them like lean in to talk, like, and whatever they're saying, like you can they can dub that over the thing when we watch the actual stuff, whenever it's not live. That would be super cool to me. Like when you obviously can't do it when the live matches, but on the tape matches and stuff in the studio, that's something they actually could do. And you could have a little bit of both worlds there and maybe not do it every time, right? Like maybe not put everything with a dub over it because maybe they are just speaking whatever and it doesn't matter. But like maybe there's a key moment to where the two guys are conversating to try to get the answer, and something big happens when they're discussing it. Like they really didn't know the answer, but they were able to work together and get it. Maybe it's only those times that they do it. Like they don't have to do it every time. You know what I'm saying? So that's something kind of cool, like that possibly could be done. To be honest with you,
Patreon tier, $7.50
yeah, there you go.
You get the audio commentary versions.
And it's honestly one of my favorite things about the NFL. I always go and see the mic'd up sessions on YouTube. They're so fun. And anyone who is mic'd up, the number one thing you will always see them do is tell their teammates, hey, I'm mic'd up. So just so you know, so they're gonna know that they're mic'd up. So maybe it affect them a little bit, but I don't know.
They're just saying that to relate with the audience, because then the audience is like, I'm fucked up too, man. They're just like us.
Mic'd up, buddy.
Mike.
Shout out to the NSA.
What?
I do want to say something before we move to the next.
These
match,
are light Russian stouts. Okay, I'm fine. All right.
But yeah, I do want to say something before we go into the next match, because it was brought up a little bit ago when we were talking about corruption and stuff, like how sneaky good this team is and how we think maybe they could.
We know you love deception, Justin.
No, it's because I'm talking about the corruption, the team that's going for the tag titles, like not the faction, but the team.
The teams.
You said it 3 times, Danny.
Yeah, exactly. God,
we have to make it sure because Justin says a lot about corruption.
Hambone, why do we let this Danny guy on here? I don't even know who he is.
Because our Daniel's still asleep.
I am the best. I am the best.
I know we're both gonna get a message like, I thought it starts at this hour.
I mean, he's probably in some weird time zone. But I do want to say that before we go, like how we were talking about how we didn't talk about Lightning Time a lot, but as teams as a whole, I don't think we talk about corruption, the team, as much as we should. That team's only got 3 losses total in their career, and they've beaten the best, what we consider the best teams, or even these super teams that are put together, and they've beaten them multiple times. Things like Founding Fathers and stuff like that. Like, that's just amazing, and I think they're like the most underrated team that we have in the league, period, just because it isn't talked. Man, that cat, because of that black background right there, that almost scared the shit out of me, to be honest.
Yeah, you know,
okay. I want to just
last time I was on this network,
shut off the whole show.
Shut off my internet 17 times. So you know he'll do that.
Nice.
You represent the corruption.
He freezes and then you hear, "Damn cat!" He's frozen. Yeah. Hambone, I was actually going to say something. When you said they beat, like when you're talking about corruption, you said they beat the super teams. I had like 2 teams kind of in my head. None of them were Founding Fathers. I was like, yeah, didn't they beat freaking Shire Wolves? And then they beat I was not the
Fathers. They beat a lot. They beat fucking Danger.
I guess technically they're a super team.
Do you think that's the like Tom Brady effect though? In terms of like you just expect them to be amazing, so when they're a little bit less than that, it's kind of like.
Founding Fathers. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. When it comes to Founding Fathers, you put Gronkowski and freaking Brady back together, they better win the Super Bowl. That is exactly it. But guess what? They earned that and they want that. If they didn't want to be treated like, oh my God, these guys are going to win, then they wouldn't. They want to be treated like the royalty. And when they put it together, then you have to be royalty. You have to kill it then, or then I don't know, whatever.
But let's get into this next one really quick, because we've been talking about this one for a pretty good while, and that's the Final Exam versus Rushmore, the actual, I guess, what you would call the main event of the pay-per-view. Kind of start off the same way, and then we'll start having the discussions like we just had with that one. Like what was your main things that you overall saw in the match, like as it was taking place and at the end of it? And we'll start with the Canadian Danny.
Look, bro, for me, here's the thing. Final Exam is a good team, but every time they show up to play, you always have that doubt that what type of long Harrys we're going to have.
I knew you were going to say.
Tonight we had the good long Harrys, like the focused long Harrys, and I think that was a factor that decided a lot in the victory. But like I said in the beginning of the show, man, let's face it, Rushmore played very well as well, just like Deception. So even though there was a factor of long, it was just like there was a little bit of luck. I don't like to use that word, but tonight was for them. I don't think they played the best game of their lives, even though they went perfect.
Set a record.
It went almost perfect. They went multiple choice once. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, better than almost every team ever, but yeah.
But I think because we have this long factor, so that's why sometimes people overlook Final Exam a little bit.
Yeah,
but look, if they continue this record like the way they're playing tonight, I think they can be a threat for sure in the same division.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with it. The thing when it comes down to it, to me, is you what you said was like luck. Actually, this is going to be a word I think that's going to be starting being used more and more and more when people talk about the Schmoedown. Because like we were saying earlier, these teams are so closely connected as far as like their skill level that guess what's the one thing you can't control that neither team can control is like the luck of the questions that get asked that day, or the luck of the wheel, right? Like that kind of thing, or the luck of what categories they pick in round 3. Like that becomes the difference. Like that's not like throwing shade at a team. Like maybe that's throwing shade at a team if you're trying to say like they only win because they're lucky. But that's not what happens, I don't think, here in this moment, right? I think that the luck thing does come into play. It's like even in other sports, right? Like football, like a guy fumbles the ball, and because of how it's shaped, it bounces in a really weird way right into another dude's arms who ends up recovering it and scores a touchdown. Like that's still that game, that's still skill to a certain point, but that was the luck of the draw at that one particular moment. And I think we're getting more and more of that. Like we didn't get that as much because a lot of times it wasn't as competitive a lot. Like you would have these blowouts or dominant teams and whatnot, but like nowadays, like how close it's all going to come. Like you said, like the team that won in this match broke a record, had to answer their 5-pointer because guess why? The reason why they even had a chance to even break that record is because they were playing a team that is just as good as they are, pretty much.
Exactly.
Like 1 point difference. Like if they don't, it takes 2 to tango when it comes to that. Like that's one of the things. You're going to break a record, you have to have an opponent that's right there with you, just as good as you are, to be able to even have the chance at that record because they have to make you answer those questions. So I don't think luck's a bad word necessarily, especially now.
I got something. Sorry, Nancy. I just want to say one thing really quick. I think it's less luck and more bad luck. I think Lon's a good player with bad luck. He's a mediocre player and he's got good luck this time. I'm not saying that's what you said, but I wanted to clarify. Lon's a A+ player, and then he gets yips and something gets into his head and he plays bad. The knowledge is always there. I think that he is up there when it comes to knowledge. I think that when he misses questions, it's not because he doesn't have it. Something's messing up with his head. I think it's bad luck exists more than good luck in the Schmoedown. It's bad luck that you didn't study for that one when you study for everything else, or it's bad. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say is I think that all of these guys just played exactly the way they normally should on a good day without getting hit with a bad thing. I don't know. Go ahead, Nancy. You probably were going to say something way more insightful.
No, I completely agree. I don't think it's fair to say like luck counteracted the Lon factor, so to speak, because Lon is very good. I think sometimes he just happens to have some strong blind spots where he is unlucky. So exactly what you were saying, Taco, is like he does get unlucky sometimes in just hitting those blind spots in matches. But he is very good. So I just don't think it's fair to say necessarily like luck is counteracting the Lon factor, because a lot of times, specifically in this match, Lon was getting correct answers and Oyama was second guessing him. And so
he got the 5-pointer for him.
Yeah,
that was
exactly
him.
right.
That was Lon got the Mickey Rourke.
Exactly right.
Yeah. I took notes, Dave.
Yeah.
I know.
And Oyama was kind of on the fence. Sometimes he trusted him, sometimes he questioned him. So it was a little back and forth in terms of that. So I think, Lon was a very strong player in this. Again, I feel like every competitor is going to have those blind spots sometimes where it just happens. You can't know every single movie in existence. So, yeah.
Right. Listen, guys, I'm going to point out something real quick here. Y'all laughed at me a little bit when I said something about the Kung Fu earlier, but guess what? If I'm not mistaken, that was in the Kung Fu or Ninja category, and me and Lon both have beautiful beards.
Justin, you're not a ninja.
I'm
doing the Lon cosplay today. I know.
There you go. Yes, you are.
I do want to put up this right here.
When I'm a delinquent, I'm not playing a character. I'm just a delinquent.
Yeah, you look very like Lon right now, Taco.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm named after his dog. Yeah, my mom did.
Nice.
My mom named
I'm
me
going to throw up this. I'm going to throw up this and do my very best. One of our biggest fans out there, Rob Snark, earlier threw up the Streamlabs and stuff.
Love me some Snark.
He put this comment in there.
Revoir
et bonne nuit, man. Oh,
Jesus.
Have a great rest of the show. I don't know if I did that justice. Or whatever.
Okay, as a Canadian, I'm a little offended. By your French.
He's going to bed and he said goodbye, my friends.
Oh, I know.
Rob, why are you going to bed earlier, you old
Okay, but read it so I can hear it.
We went over the concussion story, Nancy.
I can probably say I'm later than freaking smart right now.
Oh, okay.
If any French people are out there,
you're a little more that
good
way.
I did. Yeah. Leave a comment for this video if you're French and you actually know what that says and how it said, and see if I even got in the ballpark.
I don't think even the French people understand what you said, Justin.
50% of our fan base.
Have a good night. Okay. He said goodbye and have a good night.
Yeah.
All the negative comments usually come in French, so I never get them. I don't
See,
know.
Dave, you lied. You knew what that said. You know.
I have comprehension at the 3rd grade level, and that's
Damn,
about it.
Steve
That's pretty
Bump.
crazy.
Wow,
More than me.
called
Bro.
you 3rd grade level French speaker, Snark.
No, I am not Snark. He's good.
Snark's from.
Now-
Is he?
Anyway,
He's
the-
in Winnipeg. That's
the
not.
match-
By the way, you guys have
Canadian.
Snark has a show in your guys' channel, right?
He
Does he
does.
still do
Sometimes. Yeah.
Can we
He-
buy that? Like, bring that show to Let's Get Ready? How much is it?
Whoa! This is not. That's we'll talk
Back.
about
Know your place. What are you and your freaking like? What are you talking about, man? That's like asking
Americans
somebody if
also
them and their
trying-
wife swing.
I mean,
like, just back off, all right?
I
We're
think
gonna-
Snark's
Oh,
middle
wow.
life crisis.
you take all our handsome Ryans, and now you're taking Snark.
Who is Ryan?
Wow.
They did ask me earlier to come over to their show, Dave, and I said no.
Taco,
All right,
no, if
so-
you wanted, we've been trying to unload.
We've been trying to push you away.
So
Well-
I am going to bring this up to bring it
Yeah.
back to the Schmoedown and
Thank you.
to get it off the LGR trying to take over the Canadians or whatever like we got going on here.
Yeah,
I
but
think the papers of Snarks are going to rise up in the
the
market.
thing I want to ask you guys is like the teams that lost, and I do know we have a teams tournament, so they may have it like. So Finstock might put Rushmore in there, and then Deception
They
may even
should.
have a chance to get on there from Corruption. But like I was gonna ask, like for these teams that did lose today, because we're not gonna get a lot of like teams matches besides probably that tournament. We might get a couple more before the year's out. Do you really think that it's done for those guys?
No.
No,
Rushmore? No way.
Nope. Yeah.
No way.
No, I'm just
I
talking
think-
about for this year. I'm not talking about for like all time.
I
talking
think-
about
No, I don't think.
Well,
for
I
the
think that's
Steelers.
why. Especially Roka, the way he was talking at the end of the match. Like, I feel like they got to push him now.
He's been saying that since season 3.
But
Yeah.
also because he needs to win a big win for him to retire. I think that's where his brain is at. Is like, I need to retire on top, not half.
And he never gets back on top, so we still have him.
Fair enough.
I think it would be foolish
Wow.
to not push Rushmore into the tournament down the road.
He said.
Just because I know we all want, and I know Barbarian wants to play in teams,
Yeah.
but to put him to say, all right, you guys are 2-2, get out. We're gonna put Roka and Barbarian, or Roka, or we're gonna put
Downtown Barbarian.
and- We're gonna put
Downtown
and
Barbarian.
Griffin Newman together. It's like,
Yes.
I don't.
That'd be
like,
interesting.
I would love to see that.
I would
But
love
you
it.
don't. When you got a team like Rushmore, you're gonna put them into the tournament because you want to see them, and we know they can play well. Like Justin, you're talking about final exam setting teams records. 30 seconds earlier, Rushmore set the team's record at 38 points.
They
It's a
scored higher than the
30
winner
point
of the last match. Like they
Yeah.
lost this match, but they got 38 and Lightning Time got 37. They're the
Literally-
second best team here.
literally
Yeah.
set a new record and then immediately lost. It's like you can't walk away from that.
right.
Yeah, that
JT missed one question in round 1.
Now, to be
That's
fair
it.
though,
That's
the-
it.
To be fair, though, the reason why I brought it up was just because of the way that the season's probably going to play out. I just don't see – I see next year teams being more of a focus since it's kind of got shafted the last couple of years because of COVID.
I would love that.
So I do see, like, next year it being more of a thing. But, like, I'm just saying with the rest of the season, not because obviously all 4 of these teams are great. Like, all 4 of these teams earlier times in the Schmoedown could have all held belts and probably dominated for a little while during all those times. Like, I consider – all 4 of these teams could have beat the Patriots at any point during their run. Like, that's how good I think all 4 of these teams are. The Patriots are good.
During
but-
their run, I don't think they could beat the Patriots if they put them together now, but
I don't know, man. The way Jeff's been playing and the way JT's
Whoa.
playing, you put those
Whoa.
2 together, who knows?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they get put together right now, I'd immediately be putting all my money on them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the 2 best teams players still. But you're right, but that was a different league. No one, like, if they were pushed to be the players they are now, then they had it in them. But no one was studying the way they. I remember when Sam said that he went and watched every animated movie because it was and I was like, well, these guys study. That was Sam Levine dropped that he studied, and everyone's like, whoa, Sam's studying. That was, and then everyone started studying after that. It's a completely different league.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I actually think a lot of it has to do with the newer players in the last few years, not just with this year or whatever, but like what Adam Collins did last year and even the year before that when Paul Yama broke through. I think those young guys came in there and was like, yo, bro, y'all just letting me come up here and run roughshod. Y'all better start doing things. And now, like some of those older competitors that have been in the league for years was like, oh, well, you know what, man, I can't be letting these young guns come in here and like steal the show. I mean, Adam Collins obviously isn't a young guy, obviously. Yeah. But as far as Schmoedown, he's like a baby. Like he's just started. Like he's just begun his journey in the Schmoedown. And when I say young guys, that's what I'm talking about. As far as young as being young career for like a young career. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, his first match was him and Marisol's both first match was last September.
Yeah,
like, it hasn't even been the tournament. For them.
Yeah, the singles tournament.
Yeah.
So, I think it was against my buddy Andres Gallegos.
Oh, she actually said his name right, by the way. I say Galagos or something like that all the time. That's every time.
What, the islands? Yeah.
What is Moses' first name, Justin, again?
No, I'm not gonna say. Yeah, just say Moses.
Okay, so that's the one episode I watched of you guys. You got freaking Daddy saying Amaru, and you're going, Mr. Moses. Like, you just won't even try.
Because it's already ingrained, like, in my brain to, like, say the wrong thing. So, like, it's going to be a little while before I can start saying it. Now, I will say we've been going for, like, a little bit longer than an hour or whatnot. We got a little bit of time left. What do y'all want to well, I'll just break them down, and then we'll just talk about them overall as far as the matches that happened this week total. So the first match we had, which was a Patreon match that come out on Wednesday, was the Outsiders versus the Press Room. We'll go around the horn again right here. Like, what was y'all's thoughts? Or did you have anything in that match that you'd like to point out?
Sorry, I took notes on all of them, by the way.
You can go back.
Can
you got
I go
something
back
real quick, Nancy,
to Oyama real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, someone clip this, send it to Oyama, let him know. Compared to his like first season to now, this is such a great Oyama that I want to see. For whatever reason, first season Oyama, he was great, right? But it wasn't like I wanted to watch him necessarily. He felt for whatever reason like in his own bubble. And now it feels like he's having fun. He's like kind of loose. He is like, it feels like he's just enjoying the league more. And on top of that, he's on fire with whatever he is doing. So I have to I want to give him so much praise because this is the Oyama I want to see. He is just not only answering great, but he just seems like he's enjoying himself, and therefore I am enjoying watching him. So I have to give him applause for that.
Yeah. Everything she just said, I also want to say.
Agreed.
That's it. All of that. I completely agree with everything you just said, Nancy.
I just want to say that I've said Ninja more times than I have in a while, and some guy by the name of Ninja shows up
an
out of
actual
nowhere.
Ninja showed up.
Yeah, an actual Ninja showed up. We gotta get
from the Shira Ryu.
When the show's over, we got to get up.
Made another Mortal Kombat one for you, Daddy. What's up?
But all right. So
get over here.
Get over here. The Outsiders versus the Press Room. We'll go around the horn here real quick. What do you guys think? Did you have anything that you wanted to talk about from this match? Just one of those things. I mean, I'll go ahead and say my piece before we start going around. Is I know they misspelled Horowitz during one of the first matches he was in, and they had to make an edit to go in and change his name or whatnot.
I did not know that. That's hilarious.
I didn't know that.
But I think if I'm not mistaken, they put a R in there where it shouldn't be. And I'm going to tell you, they need to go back and just have his name truly be Horowitz.
Yeah.
Because this dude is strictly scary. This guy was this guy that I didn't expect crap from, right? I'm oh man, he's going to be one of these people that, he's not particularly famous, but he's done things he's kind of like a celebrity. He's on the edge of being a celebrity, right? He's
Flickinger. He's like Flickinger.
Right. Yeah, he's done these things that are on the edge of being kind of famous and stuff. So I kind of still look at him as being more of a celebrity style player that's what I thought before.
Yeah.
Now that I saw this dude, even in his first team's match with Press Room, now I see this match and I see what he's doing in the singles. that dude is flat up scary because like
Yes.
you did not expect it from him. But that's the one thing I took away. Yeah, go ahead, guys. We'll start with Nancy. What'd you think about this match and like anything you took from it?
Love press room. I honestly did not expect him to come out with a win. And I mean, with Perry, right? This is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure I got the right people. Again,
That's fine.
similar to Liz, I think Perry is the dark horse of this team's. She did so well, and not only that, but they work so well together. Just their gameplay, especially in that round 3, it was really nice to see, and I adore Perry. I adore both of them, so kudos to them. I think they did fantastic.
If Perry can improve in the first round, this team could be one of the teams that we start talking about being at the top of the game because she's actually played. She's like weird because like a lot of other people are opposite. They can play good first round, second rounds, and then they get to the third round and fall apart. Like Perry plays good in the second and third round, but for some reason cannot play in the first round.
What I was gonna say.
She even says it herself.
So if I may, please, I took notes again. So I took notes for all these because I'm going to talk about them on Sunday.
We're on vacation. We're on a different channel, Taco. You don't have to do the work.
No. All right. So this is how I love it. I love taking notes. I love studying. It's my favorite thing. I'm a nerd, man. You know how much freaking. Don't worry about it. All right. So Perry missed 4 questions, or 4 questions in round 1, which is rough.
Yes.
But Horowitz took a dewberry. And I'm not talking crap about Perry because they killed round 2. It was her category. It was new releases, and they went perfect until a 1-pointer on their 6th question. Compared to what Outsiders did, which was 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 miss. And then these guys got a 1-point steal out of them. Like, Perry, sure, missed some questions in round 1, and it's exactly what you're saying, Hambone. If she can get her round 1 together, she's unstoppable. Like, she's really good because she owned round 2, and they didn't even have to answer their 5. According to my notes.
One of those people who I just love watching.
She beat Kalinowski in singles last year.
Exactly. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah. Similar to Liz, Perry is just one of those people who is just so pure and warm to. I'm sorry, there's something going on over there.
Well, your cat's obviously not pure.
What's your cat doing?
Yeah,
what's your cat doing the
I
what?
have no idea. I'm scared. Anyway, but Perry's one of those people who I love to watch play, and this match was no exception. Even when she's missing the questions, you can tell she's just having such a good time. And Josh Horowitz, you're right. Like, this dude's a killer. I thought, like, when you see him going up against guy from Cobra Kai. I already forget his name.
Because he did well too.
Like,
he did really good.
He did well.
Yeah, the guy from Cobra Kai.
Yeah, he killed it in that first match, and he's just getting he's getting better and better, and I can't wait to see what else he does. And also, poor Paul Preston. The man is 0-6 in.
Yeah, I was going to say something
like
about that.
Like, he's such a good player, but the man cannot catch a break.
Hey man, what's wrong with the movie guys, man? Like, I'm just gonna say this right now.
There's a curse.
There's
did
someone
they do
jinxed
something
them.
wrong and someone did they go to New Orleans one time and party it up just a little too hard, walk into the wrong house and get a voodoo curse on them?
Yeah,
like,
they dragged me to hell. They ran over a gypsy. That's what happened.
Yeah. Something had to happen, man.
Drag me to hell,
like,
or Thriller, or Thinner. They messed with a gypsy crazy person. That's what happened.
Bro, they must have done something because both those guys, they're like lovable. They actually do know stuff. Like,
they're good.
And they're good, but like, and they're fun to watch. But man, those guys cannot get a victory.
Dude,
like, I almost want to pay their next opponent like money. Like, bro, just let them win.
Start
like,
point
don't make
shaving.
it look too obvious. But like, yeah, can we get them a victory? Like, for God's sakes, these people deserve a victory.
Even Witt has said that, like, he's like, man, they keep putting me up against like the future top players every single time.
Witt, especially in Star Wars.
Yes.
Look, for me, this whole thing just helps my narrative that the Dan for next year, if I were Kate, I would maintain my IG and Star Wars people. I think so, and Harper are definitely the future of both those divisions.
Yeah.
But I will do an overall of the singles/teams division
No,
because
I would go straight to the draft because there's no way if they were to keep anything the same. Like I obviously think that going into next year, I think that they actually should do something a little different, and that's where you keep a good portion of the team together. So I think it should be you keep up the 6 players, and then like you draft like your last 6 or whatever to get to 12. Or if they make it to where it's 10 players, you only draft. Because here's the thing,
I
like,
disagree.
but if they do it the same way, right? Or they do it even a little different. But if they do it the same way where you can only keep 3, like, dude, there's going to be so much talent that we know of, especially from these young players like Griffey Newman. There's no way that these teams can keep all these players. There's going to be all kinds of like good people to pick in the draft. It's
I like the
so,
idea of keeping 4 of 1 for each division. But
well, you
Did
can
they
keep a
say
teams
what
that
the-
way, IGN and Star Wars. Like basically,
Did they
keep
say what the
teams that you
factions
usually do,
are?
yeah.
No.
Did they say what the
No,
factions are?
no.
No, we don't know. We don't
next
know
year?
if they're going to stay
And-
like completely like.
Because I
they
know
are
Christian
or
put
not.
out that like poll or
AMA.
whatever in terms
Yeah.
of like what the factions.
was it like a month ago? Yeah.
Change
I
is
was
coming.
gonna say as a Minnesota Vikings fan, I've been cursed with the almost there. You too, Nancy?
Raiders fan, hello.
Okay, then you know what I'm about to say. is
Yeah.
You don't have the decency to just suck. You have to almost be good and then suck.
Mhm.
I will never say the word suck when I'm talking about the movie or the movie guys.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it.
Yeah,
Is they
Yeah.
never just lose. They almost win, and it's always that painful. So we
Yes.
still are sitting here, and we're still saying, we know they're good.
Yeah.
But they just can't win, and it's so painful. And as a Minnesota Vikings fan, I've been feeling it my whole life, and that's why I hate sports.
For all
Derek
you-
Carr
My
breaking
whole life.
his leg the
Oh.
game before we go to the playoffs. Exactly. The movie
That time
I'm
you
gonna-
guys got Antonio Brown
I'll-
for the preseason.
I'm gonna.
Okay, we checked him. Okay, in
Yeah,
time.
sure. You
I'm
broke up with
sorry.
him.
I'm about to pre-apologize for the reference that I'm about to make, but being
If
like
If you
Oh
bring
my
up the
God.
word Packers, I
for
am
being
gone.
for being like a movie guys fan, like if you're a legit fan and you're rooting for them to win,
Yeah.
like I'm telling you right now, like I feel sorry for you guys because it's like you're like highly constipated and you're just sitting on the toilet for like a long time, right?
That's
like you're
my
trying.
sports.
you're-
you
you're-
explained it.
That's fair.
Are you compared into a toilet?
Yeah,
or
exactly. Like
or
you're sitting on the toilet
person
for like a long
constipated?
time. You're just trying to
Yeah.
get it out.
But-
And
but-
finally,
but no,
and
but
finally,
before-
like you let that
This is
release.
gonna be the best
Finally, they're
ever.
going to get a victory, and it's going to be the greatest feeling of all time.
That's
right?
true.
That's what I'm trying to
That's
say.
true. Mhm.
Finally, they're going to get the victory, and you're just going to be the happiest person on earth. It'll be just one win, and you'll be fist pumping, probably even running around your neighborhood naked, you know, for around the block and everything else because you're so happy over one
Yeah.
victory, and that's what it's going to feel
Yeah.
like. But that's
Minnesota
the thing.
Miracle.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was at a
Dude,
packed
same
bar
feeling.
when that happened. The miracle in Minneapolis. I was at a packed bar. It was insane. Anyway.
Same feeling. It's going to be just like that.
Yeah.
But-
But it's almost like what you said, Ambone. But you have to build up the shit before you make it to the
Yeah.
toilet. If you're saying
Yeah,
this is gonna
exactly.
be the
No, that's
best
exactly
shit
what I was
ever,
going with.
where this is the best shit. This is our year for this
Yeah.
shit. And then
Yeah.
you sit down and you can't do it. That's
Yeah.
what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I agree. Like totally. And then, like I said, like it's going to be like something's going to burst. Right, the curse is going to be over with. They're going to
At some
go back to
point,
New
we hope.
Orleans, and they're going to recompense for whatever they did there. You know, and like the curse will be broken, and they'll start winning, and it's just going to be like let's just going to say the winds will start flowing. But we got to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Before it starts happening.
Remember
I
like
can
an
tell,
hour
Brett.
ago?
I almost
when
wore a
said, "This is
Vikings
my
suit
favorite
for
show."
this.
It's not anymore. You know,
Because we're not
10
talking
minutes
about
on
hockey.
I just don't know. What are we
Right.
doing yet?
So now we got Brother Loomis and Beth May. We'll do the same
I
thing we
like
just did
this
with
match.
this. Look, let me tell
Did
you.
we make
something,
it
man.
around the horn for the last one already? We did?
I thought everybody made points. If anybody has anything they want to add real quick, they can do it. Okay, yeah. So like the Brother
All right.
Loomis, Beth May, I'm going to tell you right now, I felt sorry watching Beth May towards the end of this because like she, and even in her post game thing, like you can tell like she wanted to do better, not just for her. She wanted to do better for her faction and everything else, for letting her have a match and for drafting her and everything else. But I'm going to tell you, man, Brother Loomis, if this guy could show up and play like he played in this match and keep it up, if like, because like the first match he did really well, but then he kind of fell apart in that last round. He's kind of opposite of Perry Nimroth there, you know. like that last round, he just caved in. But if he can put it together like he did in this match and like play as good as he did and have this character thing of what he's doing, oh my God, dude, let me tell you something. He might become my favorite character because he's got it. Like that gimmick that he does, like let's just go in there, man. That gimmick that he does is just, it's amazing. It makes it even funnier that he's with Gucci and Gucci doing this goofy stuff, and then like you got this dude who's like a priest that's shouting out how holy and how
that
great
ain't a normal
stock
priest,
is,
man.
and it's just like, come on, man, like this is just, to me, the whole story. You know, when he's got the talk down and all this, like I really do like it. But let's see where it goes from here. But like in this match, it really was like you saw the potential, I think, of Brother Loomis that you didn't get to see in his first match. And let's see if he can carry on with that, is what I'm kind of looking at. Like, I want to see this third match from him now. I'm like super excited to see match 3, whoever he plays, and see how he goes from there, because the character work, the stuff he's doing, even in the digital age, like how fun would this be if you see him actually walk out on stage or walk out on a set when like a studio match is happening, if that possibility can come forward. Like how cool, like this dude doesn't have to go and do cosplay or anything with his entrance, right? You know how we used to have entrances of the year, which may be coming back with studios, so people could be doing entrances and all that.
I hope.
Like,
I miss it.
yeah, exactly. So like this dude doesn't have to do anything though. He literally just has to walk by with some like music playing and like him holding his hands together
using the
and
Burning
saying,
Drugs music. They do.
Yeah, almost, yeah, pretty
Seeing
much,
him
yeah.
in color though.
But what else did y'all got?
I almost went black and white as an homage to him, and I might do it on our Sunday show.
Nice. But like, what did y'all think?
Whoever wants to go.
I really liked. Sorry, Nancy, go ahead.
Oh no, I was only going to go first because I literally only caught the last question of this match, so that's why.
Okay.
I unfortunately didn't get to watch the match.
I took notes for it.
Oh, thank you. So you'll get to tell me what happened. Yeah, I literally turned it on. Got to see the last question. Bethany, fantastic character as well. She's kind of like a character, not character kind of person.
An extended personality, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love her. I think she's great. I think she has a great foundation to build upon this. Unfortunately, just hasn't broken her way yet. But I think that foundation plus her personality is going to keep her in the league and keep her going. And I think she's only going to get better from here. And in terms of Brother Loomis, like his character is great on top of all his movie knowledge. Like I can't wait to see what else he's got in store. But yeah, that's all I have. So go ahead.
Nancy, you took the words right out of my mouth. I just have like a question for the field though. Like, I know we all like Brother Loomis's character and something. But do we feel as though this is a sustainable character? Yeah, I see you, Taco. Like, is this something that we can see for years? Is this something that after this season, we're going to be like, okay, we need something else? Or is this something you guys think one season will be enough of it?
No.
No, you think this is something you
If
see
he
for a
can
while?
do it the entire game, then keep doing it.
There's
He
only
holds it the whole game. It's you, Dave. I don't want to start. It's all you.
no. Go ahead.
That's what I gotta say. But Dave, finish.
No, I finished.
No,
I asked the question.
I want him to keep going. No. I think this is beyond heel because I don't dislike this character. I'm terrified of this character. Dude, I grew up in an atheist household, man. Fire and brimstone priests terrify me. And he just caught just the idea of that, like, that thing he has and that presence he has of just like, and then fire will rain down on this league. Like, it terrifies me. So he's like scary. Like and he keeps it up the entire match. His character work is next level. I'm not saying we haven't seen this kind of character work, but I don't know if we've seen this kind of character work. You might have to remind me, because this is insanely good character work. It's not only is he doing something that feels like a 180 of any other real living human being, but he's keeping it the entire match. It's so good.
Look,
Not
I think you all Canadians are being so nice tonight. I'm going to be the one that say it.
You paying attention?
No.
Besides the quick Murphs, Di Malanta, and now Horowitz, I don't see the quick Mercs doing anything else. I don't see it.
Are we talking about Crooked Marks? We were talking about Brother Lomas. Oh, Beth May. Okay.
Beth May's in the quick Mercs.
Yeah.
Don't they got Shazam?
No, it says Shazam, Di Malanta, and Horowitz. Besides
Okay,
those
yeah.
three factors, like technically are 4 people. Shazam.
To be
Shazam.
fair,
Well, and then Perry.
Perry is
Perry's
conditional.
still there.
Perry is conditional.
to be
Okay,
fair,
round 1 is bad, but she killed round 2.
Round 1,
Perry
it
is
means
great.
round 1 counts even more than ever.
But they
She
still
beat
won.
Mike in. Didn't she beat
Singles.
Mike in the tournament? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
drafted her for a reason.
Let's put Perry. But what the rest of the team?
Well,
The rest of
here's the thing, Danny. Corruption
Dan-
won last season on the back of 4 players. So, like, that can happen. You can get there on
4
the back
players?
of a handful of teams.
Okay, all right. I forgot. I know where your 4th is. I forgot about Star Wars. For a
What
second.
is it? You gotta have people who you can build upon too. Like Beth May is a person you can build upon.
Yeah.
Is she an A-star player right now? No, but I think she is definitely someone you can build upon. And going back to, is it Lomas? Am I pronouncing this right?
Lomas.
Loomis or Lomas?
I think it's Lomas.
I think we should
Lomas.
just call
Lomas,
him. I
but
wrote
he's
down
called
brother.
Lomas.
I wrote down brother. Brother's
His
his
brother.
first- He's like Brother
His
Mazzone
first name
from The
is
Wire.
Brother.
Yeah, his first name's brother.
In terms of character, I think he's going to sustain because this fool responded to one of my tweets, still a character. And half of it, I didn't know what he was saying, but I was like, oh, you seem nice, but you're still a
I can't.
character.
I tried to
he
get
can
this guy.
24/7 can keep up character.
I tried to get this guy to come on our show, and I can't even read you the message that I got in return
Dude.
of like
Yeah.
why at the time he couldn't
Yeah,
come on
those
our show.
matches are
Justin, I
great.
get it. We've got similar
Love it.
Listen,
I
I'm
am
gonna
from
say,
it though.
We have. I'm not part of the team that hardcore. I don't know. But we have had. All right, that's all.
Well, we'll talk off there.
listen,
Look,
How many times did he say fire and brimstone?
yeah,
Brother Lomas, his best tweets are the ones when he make a random ass tweet,
Yeah.
tags Google, Apple, Pornhub, and some Schmoedown player. Those are the best tweets of the internet. Go look for it.
All right, I don't have
Listen.
Twitter. The 4th thing you said, he brings us up in tweets.
as the skies
third?
open and the ground shake and the water poureth,
Oh my
nothing
God,
will be
Reverend
able to be
Justin.
out there. Nothing will be able to be out there to put out this guy's fire if he's
Yeah.
actually good at movie trivia. If he's good at movie trivia, that's the only question right now from this guy right here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what God he prays to. I don't care if it's like from the even maybe he prays to the demon from The Exorcist because he looks
I
like one
don't
of the
think he's a
Exorcist style
god,
priests.
technically.
And I'm gonna tell you, look, this guy can do it, and I'm a big horror fan. So unlike
He's
Taco,
good.
like I'm loving it. I'm like, oh,
He's
dude,
good.
I hope he like raises his hand and fire comes down from hell upon somebody. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
said he
hope-
terrifies me, and then I
fire
said he's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Like,
hello.
but yeah, but like this dude, if he can put together movie trivia, there's 2 people here recently within the last like year and a half or so, as far as playtime goes, that I can see something special in Christian's eyes whenever I'm watching it and Christian's on the desk or whatever on camera, and he's like calling a match. There's been a couple of times in the last year and a half I saw this twinkle, this thing of like, oh my God, if this guy could just know the answers,
Yeah.
we're going to be great. Happens to 2 people so far. One of them's Brother Lomas, and he's correct. If that dude can put it together and he puts movie trivia together and with this character, could you, like I said, can you just imagine him coming out to some special music that they put together for him during like a live event, you know, like at a
Yeah.
spectacular or something like that, and it's actually for like an actual major match. And the other guy that's happened to is Saul. When Saul cut his
Yeah.
promos, when Saul
Yeah.
built his stuff up and everything else and put it together, that first match, even with Brandon Hanna, there was a thing in Christian. Like he couldn't even help himself. He had to talk
Yeah.
about it during the post game. Like
I love Saul.
he was
Yeah, I love
really
Saul.
wanting Saul to win. He wanted Saul to win to keep going because like this dude really knows what he's doing as far as like promotion and really getting you excited for the match coming up. That's the special quality that not everybody has. There's some people that can't build up a match, but when the match comes on, they can, like Perry Nimrod, for instance, like she's super great to watch. Like even the Greg Alba and those guys, like the Real Rejects, right? Like they might not build up the match a lot, but like when you watch the match, they're fun and like you can get engaged, and even if they lose, right? Like you still have a good time.
They're jobbers. They're perfect jobbers.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's something special to say about people that can do things, stay in character, and build the match up before it even happens. And I think that's a couple people that can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's special. The amount of staying in character and going back to Saul, I forgot that Saul wasn't Saul. Like I forgot that he's not a stone cold freaking whatever. I'm trying to quote Rick and Morty. I'm gonna do it wrong, but a cold dick killer. Like that's what I think of when I think of Saul. He's just a cold dick killer. But when you see him on other podcasts, he's like a normal human, and you forget that that's his character.
Normal is a very strong word.
Normal, you know.
I love me some Saul, and Nancy was on our show. I think when we were talking about Saul, and I talked about how much like I think he did backstage or rundown or one of those like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I love this man. But can we just talk about how brutal the Brother Lomas Beth May match was?
Yeah, I mean that's how.
It wasn't a knockout. It was a TKO because she did get to round 3, but she missed on a Matthew McConaughey question. I didn't write down who she said it was.
And we've had some knockouts. So she did better than some people.
For me, that's the problem because for me the problem is not the players, is the manager. For me, Corey is the kind of manager. Is the kind of manager that if you are a self-sustaining player, like Shazam is, like Dimalante is, like even Josh Horowitz can be, and Perry can be. Like you don't need a manager to make you focus, but you need a manager to make you calm. I think Corey is the guy for you. But if you need a little bit of development, you need a little bit of strategy and things like that, I don't think those kind of players fit well with a person like Corey.
I think I completely agree. I think they're
not like that.
The community of their faction works well, but he's not that kind of a manager on top of it. Like they might train around each other. You know that Bibbs and Brendan always work on each other and train constantly. But it's not Coy that's doing it. Coy's there. He's a good mic manager. He's a good corner manager.
Regardless of Coy, right?
Yeah. That's something they would do without. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And I don't like talking crap about Coy, but I completely agree with you.
No, he's a great guy, but
I love the guy.
Managers since last year are a key part of the dynamics to win. Like there is a whole faction war. So even though I do think that sometimes we fans misinterpret a little bit some managers, like Tom Dagnin has been said that he's a bad manager for some people for years now. I don't.
Well, he's a buffoon. He's like what everybody else is, but without the brain in the head. He's like a buffoon.
Right.
I think championship rings than anyone else.
Yeah, it's like if you really put a good team underneath you, and then just go in the corner and do nothing.
I think there are some kind of players, some type of players that have a mentality, a behavior, a type of preparing and studying, and a psychological way to lead to the Schmoedown, and that way fits at some kind of managers. So there are some people that fit with Tom. There are some people that fits with Coy.
Well, and I don't even think it's all that. Like Tom did do a good job because I think the decent amount of his people that he got does fit with his like style or whatever it is, like in their own like weird way. Yeah, character wise. Yeah. But I'm just going to tell you this: me and Danny actually like we know a little more behind the scenes like Tom than like some other people do. And I'm going to tell you right, if you're behind the scenes and you're not on the camera, like as far as like a Schmoedown thing, and you talk to Tom Dagnino, you talk about Schmoedown with him, he breaks it down, and you're like, dude, this guy like actually knows it.
Yeah,
like he breaks it down like nobody's business. Whenever you get him behind when he's not on camera live, like he's one of those guys who can really just break down the Schmoedown more than anybody would ever think. So like he's better.
I know he's
than
not really a buffoon, but I'm going off of his character.
of the
buffoonery. I know he's a normal human being, and he could probably like hold the conversation.
Okay, normal.
Go to the DMV and wait in line and do all that stuff.
Go to the DMV.
But like what normal people do. But his character can't. His character brings his mom to the DMV because she will explain it to him. But
Well, like for a player like Lomas, Ton fits.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But for a player like Beth May, in my opinion, doesn't fit with Koi.
Well, let me ask you guys, if you don't think Beth May is the best fit for, with Koi, what other faction would you see her on?
Dungeon.
Possibly. I actually thought about Kate. I thought about Kate.
Kate would be good too.
I thought about
Yeah.
even Sam. Even
I
Sam
think she's got a good energy for
Anyone
swag.
but Koi is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
No,
we
but she
heard
already has
Swag, we
the-
heard
the-
Sam, we heard Kate, we heard
Beth May already has the happy-go-lucky behavior. That's her
Drew,
personality.
maybe. I don't know.
She doesn't need a second happy-go-lucky person. She needs something to counterpoint that,
Fair.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
To complement that.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, it. Like I said, I'm really interested in how the league's going to be changed next year because Christian's already hinting at change.
I hope it isn't. I hope it isn't too much. I like what we're doing.
I don't want
here.
the factions to leave. I want the factions.
No, that's never gonna
I
happen.
don't think so.
And something you were saying like whatever an hour and 30 minutes ago, Bone was the built-in storylines. I remember right when COVID hit and we all went to this. We went to digital, and there wasn't any storylines because they couldn't film anything. We were kind of like coasting on what they filmed. You guys remember that little bit where we're getting like once a week to coast? But we were getting storyline. You know why? Because Roka was mad about being drafted fourth. Because this and this and this. None of that had anything to do with storyline. It was all faction. It was all this guy being mad at this guy. Maybe this guy's going to get traded. None of that had anything to do with something that Harloff wrote on a piece of paper. It was just faction. And I remember it was like freaking March of last year when I was like, I get it now. I get the factions. Because there's always going to be another level of stuff for us to focus on that has nothing to do with storylines.
Yeah, no, I agree. But even this year, I think they got a little lucky because one of the very first matches was Mara being able to come back, and you had that Mara versus Chandru. And the people not liking Chandru like they do and rooting for their hero Mara to come and take the belt. It's like one of those things. Like I'll never
the
forget.
natural storyline set up here.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll never forget in Schmoedown, and it was just bad timing. Look, Chandru's not this guy that some people make him out to be. He's not that bad, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of that's just character and everything else. And he's got a weird personality, but that's just him. That's just him as a person. But when he had that match with Kevin, and he leans into the mic and just says, like, "Don't worry, it'll be over soon." And then, like, not even a week or 2 weeks later, after that match, after Chandru won, you go back and watch that match, and you go, "Oh my god!" Because, like, the part of the story where Kevin comes out a couple of weeks later and says he's got cancer, right? Like, and all that stuff.
Can't
like,
blame. You can't blame.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No,
But that's what I'm
Wait,
saying.
Hambone said it here. Chandru gave Smets cancer. And that's messed up.
No. No, but like what I'm saying though is like,
we are guests here.
But that's why that
Not
natural,
anymore.
that's something though that happened naturally without, like you said, without being on pen and paper, that got people so much behind Mara in that match. And people wanted to watch that match so much is because, like, oh man, Chandru's this dude who beat our Kevin Smets. Like, we got to have some. And Mara stepped up and did what she did. I think that's one of the best things that happened this year at the very beginning of the year.
That was
like
one of
boosting people up. It was like Mara coming in and playing like she did and then taking that belt. Like, that was a big thing.
He looked so unbeatable, and she was coming off of such a long time. And I was like, the league's different. Like, that was a pre-Smets league that she was in. There's no way she can just play at this level. And then she destroyed him, and I was like, I'll shut up. I'll stand over here. Sorry I said anything.
Again, that was a Canadian guy that said something.
That's the Canadians. We're not going to buy them.
I do want to point out,
did
right?
somebody say something in the corner?
Look, I do want to point out that PC says, like, Chandru is my favorite. But here's the thing.
He's
like,
a good heel.
Look. I'll say whatever
heel.
I'm going to say, like, whenever it comes down to it. But, like, you have to. I'm sorry, guys. Like, for you guys that don't like Chandru or some of the characters that's like that, even like a Ben Bateman to a certain point or whatever. Guess what, guys? You better start rooting for them because that's what makes the sport. That's what makes the movie trivia Schmoedown better.
You
have to have bad guys.
You
have to have bad guys for the heroes that you're rooting for to win against.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not going to be fun. Hero versus hero all the
For
time.
very Justin that exists, you need a Danny. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
You are disliking him in the way you're supposed to dislike him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And also, he's such a good heel, not only because he's so dislikable, but because he wins.
Yeah.
That's what separates him from Hannah.
Wow.
I said that straight. I was talking. I
think this is a trap. The Canadians are trying to cancel us.
Yeah,
I'm about to cancel Taco.
Dude, Dan's gonna call me to the principal's office as soon as this is done. I already got the text. I keep feeling my phone vibrate. I know he's mad at me.
No, but I mean it is true. Like, though, I've said this before. Like when it comes down to it, you have to have these bad guys, and you have to have these bad guys that win. Right now, it would be super interesting if Bateman could have kept on his run and got the belt back and been the Ben Bateman that we've always wanted him to be, and him actually defend that title. The fact that Chandru was able to win the IG title the way he did and then turn around and defend it, once or twice or whatever, that's a big deal because not a lot of people has defended that belt. He was able to do it as a bad guy, as someone that people didn't like.
Years, by the way.
And when Mara did what she did, that made that moment even bigger. Here's the thing, so you guys, I do see it sometimes in the chat, some people going super hard into some of these players that are supposed to be the bad guys of the league, but you got to have them, guys. We have to have them there. So just don't attack them personally or whatever. You can say what you want to. Of course, you're a fan. You can boo them and all that stuff. When they go to show up at a live event and Chandru shows up, you boo him out of the building because guess what? If Chandru knows what he's doing, and from what I see most of the time, it seems like he does know what he's doing.
He finally knows what he's doing.
If I'm the bad guy and you boo me out of the building, that's better than getting the cheers.
Oh yeah.
When I knock the roof off because you're booing me.
You need that heat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's remember, Kevin's match was supposed to be a heel. We didn't let him to be.
No,
that is true.
He was the most likable freaking human on the planet.
You can look at someone like Saul that's so boisterous, right? That comes in and he's really hardcore about the stuff. I mean, some people he might be abrasive, but the simple fact is a lot of us appreciate the fact when someone comes in and proves to us that they're there to actually not just put on a good show, but to actually be there and put through the effort to be good at the game. And when we see that, we obviously start to fall in love with that part of that person, right? Because even though maybe we're not supposed to fully, we start to because we appreciate the hard work. We know Saul puts in the work, and that gets us excited, right? Because then we also have the opposite where you have people that come in and you can tell, oh, they didn't even watch a movie before they came into this match sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You have that opposite, and that doesn't feel too good sometimes. So with that being said, that is a big thing, right? We as fans, we want to see people that go in there and put forth the effort because that means that all the support that we give when we watch these Schmoedown matches and we can donate when we can, when we're members of the Patreon, it's all worth it, right? It is still fun to have those people that are the fun loving and the comedy people and stuff because those are still enjoyment. And those matches do come in handy, in the middle of a bunch of really tense matches, right? They give us that little bit of levity to step back a little bit and be able to laugh and giggle some. And we need that in our lives, right? Everything shouldn't be tense or super pressurized, right? And that's kind of what I'm kind of getting at though. When the other players show up, when Adam Collins shows up out of nowhere and does what he does, when any of these players you see get improved, the players that you've seen that's gotten better over time and stuff like that, we grow to love those people. Whether they're supposed to be good or bad guys, because we appreciate, this dude's putting in the time and effort for us because we're supporting. Because let's not forget about it. People like Janine and more than just her, but there's a lot of people out there. They have real lives. They have families. They have jobs. They're not making thousands of dollars to work with the Schmoedown. They're making just a little bit of money, maybe to get them there to the event or something to be able to do it or whatever. Maybe their plane tickets paid for. They're not making thousands of dollars or anything doing this. And they're spending their time because they think us liking them or they think us watching their match, whether we boo or cheer them, is important. And they're putting the time in. So that's one of the things I wanted to say.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Really well said there, Hambone. Oh my God, yeah, that was beautiful.
Are you tearing up, Taco?
Yeah, kind of. I broke character there for a minute. All right.
I was going to ask something in terms of do you guys think that what we see on the show we should always take with a grain of salt and just assume it is character? And the reason I ask this is because I saw Adam Collins and Marisol get so much crap after their, not this match, but the match before, people saying like they're bad sports and blah, blah, blah. And Adam Collins on Twitter had to say like, hey guys, I'm still working on my character. Like I just said that to like, try and develop something. I'm still human kind of thing. And so
I always get surprised by this because I don't think that at all. And it's like, hey, hundreds of people saw this. I'm like, what?
Look,
yeah,
for me,
people
there
kept
is a
saying
good
they're
man
bad
to.
sports.
For me, there is a good man to exercise for your question, Nancy. What is Dan Murray's character?
He is a character now?
I was like, he's Dan Murray. He is him.
He's the GOAT.
Not
he wins all the time.
everyone needs to have a character in the show.
I always think.
Listen,
Sorry.
I'm not. I got to do this real quick because I'm saying
okay.
something very poignant here. Listen, guys, if you're out there, Adam Collins, any of these new players, even some of the older players that's been in the league for a little bit, and you've done your thing, right? Like, and let's tell you, like you're on a faction that's supposed to be heelish. Maybe you're supposed to be heelish yourself, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like your character, the character that you choose to be, you be that character. If you say something post game of a match and you're on corruption, for instance, when you got the queen of just savagery, like backing you up and everything, and you say something in that post game that some people may or may not like, guess what? It doesn't matter. Don't worry about going on Twitter and talk about working on your character because that part doesn't matter. You tell them to shut up. It doesn't matter what they think, that they can sit here. All they do is sit at home and put their, I'm perfect in the first round in the chat because they can't show up on camera and they're not man enough to do it. So when it comes down to it, if you're going to be a heel, you be a heel. You don't explain nothing to nobody. And when they come out and they try to talk trash to you on Twitter or whatever, you either one, ignore it, or you two, you tell them how wrong they are. You tell them that what you said and you double down on it because that's what you're supposed to do as a heel. You're supposed to have people question you on Twitter. Listen to me. If I ever got part of the Schmoedown, if I ever went and started training and thought that I could get in one of these leagues like Star Wars or IG or even like singles or whatever, the first thing I would want to be is I would want to be a heel because I'd want to go in there and I want to show somebody something. I want to show somebody that whenever you get on the YouTube chats during my match and you call me an asshole, you know what that does? That brings a big ass smile to my face because that means I'm doing my job. My job is getting done. You calling me an asshole, you hating the fact of me saying or doing what I do, me beating the competitor that you love into the ground, even though you didn't want me to, and you boo or shame me or call me names or any of that stuff right there, that's me. I'm in your head. I win. I'm the winner. People let that stuff affect them so much. Like they feel like they've got to apologize. They feel like they got to come out and they got to say, I'm sorry because I did this, guys. Like that's just me doing character. Guess what? If they don't get it, if they're not smart enough to be able to watch the movie trivia Schmoedown and realize that everybody that's on there has a character because it's been told to you thousands upon thousands of times that these people are characters that we have character work involved in the movie trivia. If they're not that smart to have gotten that part by now, they're not smart enough for you to have an intelligent conversation with them. So either, like I said, you don't have the conversation with them, or when you have the conversation, you straight up tell them like, you know what? No, I'm not apologizing to you. I don't owe an apology to you. And guess what? Who's your favorite player? Oh, it's Dan Murrell. Well, I'm about to take the damn belt from him. There ain't nothing you can do about it because I'm that damn good. And all you do is sit on the sideline. That's what you do.
I kind of wish that we didn't have another match to talk about because, that's a great ending point.
I agree with all that.
Oh my God.
Well, and I think for me, the takeaway is like, if you're watching this, just take if someone is not being nice or doing whatever the hell, just assume it's character work. Like, why are you assuming that they are just being bad sports or being whatever?
You think there's just assholes? Hey, thank you for letting me onto the show. Let me be a dick.
Exactly.
The asshole are the ones that are calling out.
As I'm doing the match or I'm watching my match afterwards, every time I get called douchebag, I just feel clean.
Well,
let it wash over me. Let the douchebags just all cleanse me, man. Like let it just rush over me because I'm feeling good. Like
that is what douchebags are made for. Is
Rambo like the douchebag cleanse.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm glad I'm not the only one who went there. Let the douchebag clean me out. Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ.
I just want to say, find somebody on your life that loves you as much as Justin Hamilton loves Adam Collins.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, and I agree with Jake a little bit there. There's a difference,
So, Jake,
right? Like,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
agree with talking shit back to the fans, but I agree with holding your position on what you've said. Like,
Yeah.
look, listen, here's the thing, though. There's a difference between talking shit just to talk shit, and there's a difference between, hey, I'm being my character on Twitter, right? Like, that's one of the things I love Brother Lomas about is because whenever he gets on Twitter or whatever, he's still his character. He's this weird, quirky thing, and, like, he doesn't go out and attack fans, but most fans haven't attacked him. But if a fan comes at you, like, it's perfectly fine. Like, don't make it personal. Don't be like, you know, saying something about their mom or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. But you just come out and go, hey, man, like saying things like this, like you believe what you want to believe, but I'm about to do this. It's not attacking anybody personally or any of that stuff, but that's you being you. Like, that's what you got to be. Guess what? That's what characters involve. That's what the whole point is, right? Like, it's for these people to be that character. When you get on Twitter and you're using that name, when you're using your Schmoedown name and your Twitter,
that.
like, and you're being that character, like, you be that person. You don't care what these other people think. Like, you shouldn't care. Like I said, my job is to make you call me a douchebag, but that's also to the competitors. You have to stop getting into your feels when someone says that. If you're a bad guy, if you're supposed to be the heel, like we always say wrestling terms, like, you got to take those comments and just let them go. Yeah, own it. Like, own it. Realize the fact that them calling you a bad name is what they're supposed to do. Them calling you a bad name means that you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Your job is done every time. Every bad name, every bad word that you get called or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. Exactly, Jake.
You're just
like,
cleansing him
matter.
now, man. You're just cleaning him.
But yeah, it doesn't matter because, like, that's your cheer. That's your version of a cheer. You have to get that ingrained into your mind and into your soul so it won't hurt. Like,
That means that your character is working.
Yeah, right. I get it that you get hurt when you see some of these comments, like, and you're not like you're not used to that kind of stuff. But, like, here goes the deal. You just have to. It's all about perspective, and the perspective is my job is for you to hate me. So when you hate me, that's me doing my job. When you hate me and you say bad things, now of course there has to be lines drawn. But I would almost go in to say that I hope the community stands up and when those lines get crossed. Like, if you start talking about me because of my physical appearance, when you start like bashing, you know, anything personal like that about family or something like that, or just calling me just names to be calling names kind of things all the time, and that's all you do, there's a difference in that. So, I mean, that's the thing that I think a lot of things in the Schmoedown, as it gets bigger and bigger, that people have to realize. Like, you have to start learning those things.
And I think too, like,
Himbo, did you have something you had to say?
I was gonna say too, if you and you know, there are some competitors who maybe don't deal with it as well, and that's totally fine too. Like, you have a prerogative to set those boundaries for yourself. But if that is the case, then maybe also set up a Twitter account that is just your Schmoedown personality, and then a personal account or something like that, so you can have those boundaries for yourself.
I do think it takes a certain grit to become a heel in the idea of just like, oh, I'll do a heel character. You're taking on a thing that only a couple people can do. And I don't want to call the guy out, but it was early, like right after his heel turn, Kalinowski. And I remember on Facebook him getting really mad. And he's like, why is everyone saying this stuff? And I was like, I had to just straight up, I'm like, Mike, you've made the decision. This is what you're getting now. You're getting us fighting back with you. You're like, that's, you asked him, you said you made the heel turn. So now we hate you. That doesn't mean we actually hate you.
I never hated him.
But you made, I never hate Mike. I love Mike Kalinowski. I really do. But guess what? I was saying all this stuff. I was saying you're a disrespectful dick because that's the character he was playing. But you have to realize that you just, it's not like a decision you make randomly as a character, like, oh, I'm going to do a heel turn. You have to be ready for everyone to turn on you, and you're supposed to revel in it. You're supposed to enjoy it. Because, like, if you look back at the old, I'm not a big wrestling fan. Soda's not here to back me up. But like, old school wrestling heels, they never broke character. Somebody could walk up and be like, hey, my kid thinks that you're my kid's favorite character. And they say, I don't want to talk to your kid. You suck. Leave. Like, that's the level of heel they committed to back then. And I'm not saying that the Schmoedown's old school wrestling by any means, but that's it. You're committing to that being hated, and if you can't handle it, maybe you should be heel. I mean, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe that's not the right path for you. If you don't want to take that negative criticism, which I don't even think I could. I wouldn't be a heel. If I was in the Schmoedown, I would I'm just a natural jerk, so I probably would be, but I wouldn't want to be.
Right.
Sorry, Dave.
I just think you do have to have that certain personality and that thing to be able to put stuff aside, and I can't. Right? Like when my friends joke with me, or even other people, like if I think it's a joke, even if I don't know them very well, like I can just, it's whatever. It is what it is. But like if I'm doing certain things,
you're definitely the most hated person.
Yeah.
Let's get ready. You're the villain. You're the heel of our.
I do hate him. Now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, but look, my point being though is being able to put that stuff aside and just realizing that that's part of your job, man. And like I said, I got on a pedestal there for a second because I am frustrated sometimes when I see people having to apologize or whatever. Like, no, they don't have to apologize, and they don't need to apologize. Because like I said, if you're a fan of the Schmoedown, you've watched it. They've told you over and over and over again what the rules are. And that is there's character work, and they do stories, and they have trivia. There's 3 major things that's involved. The only difference between this and wrestling is that the trivia is real. Yeah. And if you don't understand that and you can't wrap your brain around that, then there's obviously there's an issue, right? You just can't get it for some reason. And that's why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't like go and attack certain people, but like I'd go and have fun with certain people. Like I know I could have fun with some of these fans that do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd go back and forth with on Facebook and stuff like that, making comments to a certain level with certain people that I feel, especially the ones I feel comfortable with doing it. It's like if I was part of the Schmoedown, I was a bad guy and Jake Acapella was running his mouth, like I would straight up 100% like I would just goof around with Jake because I know Jake, like I could do that and stuff and it would look cool for my character because I'm giving Jake a ton of crap and everything else, but people may not realize I live 15 minutes down the road for him and I can go give him a hug right now if I wanted to before the show was over. Like that's how close we live. Like, so yeah.
Can you give me a hug?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you don't live that close. Like that's a little bit too far of a journey, but
I also feel like some people don't know like what a work is. Like I feel like people don't understand like it takes 2 people. It's not just someone like going after someone. Like it does involve like, you know, planning and all of this. It's not just like let me go attack this person who's a heel kind of thing. So.
I give you a perfect example. If I was in the Schmoedown, every time my match was announced and I knew who I was going to play, I would call that person.
Exactly.
I would call whoever I was about to play. And I would lay down ground rules. I'd say, look, I'm the heel. I'm supposed to say bad things. What do I not need to talk about? Like you set the ground rules.
Go over boundaries right away.
Once the boundaries are set,
I'm about to tweet this. Are you cool with this?
Yes. Once the boundaries are set and they agree with it, then that's how it goes.
Yeah.
At that point, now my character
and that's how you make a show.
Doing what I can. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's how you make the show.
All right, so we got Zipper Hurricane.
That's it. We got a hurricane of brewing, and we're not talking about Irma that just went through the east coast of the country over here. I think I said
2 hours, and we got Zipper and Hurricane to get through.
So real quick. So real quick, this match was actually a pretty decent match.
I can't wear this hat anymore. Right,
with two. Dude, my head is sweating like a mofo right now, bro.
How do you Canadians do it?
I'm in
negative
South
weather.
Alabama.
Did you guys see Andres' comment?
Which one? I saw a couple.
Do the porn star rules. What are your do's?
I almost made that joke. I was like, yeah, if you're getting to a heel it's like a sub-dom thing. You talk about boundaries. But I didn't make it. This guy beat me to it.
What's your safe words?
Yes, exactly. What are your likes and dislikes?
Anyway,
From
sorry.
comments like that, I'm obviously gonna have to become Andres' manager. I'm obviously. But yeah, we got the Hurricane and Zipper, 2 guys that I love, 2 guys that are great in the community. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't know who I was gonna be rooting for, but I turned on the match, and one guy was representing the Wu-Tang.
Yes, he was.
And Wu-Tang ain't nothing to F with. Well, we already cussed a couple times, so Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with, guys. And that's what happened. I knew it was going to be in the card. Sorry for Zipper that Jader was going to win just because of that, to be honest. And he ends up going through and he wins the match. It was a close one. What did y'all guys think before we get out of here?
Last week we had Public Enemy. Now we have freaking Wu-Tang. Like, this has been a good for old school rap. All right, no problem.
It was heartbreaking for me because I might be the only person in the Schmoedown community who my favorite player is Eric
I know.
Zipper.
We know.
He's
I
awesome.
love Zipper so much. We've had him on the show a couple times, and I was a big fan of him before
I
that.
never get the invite that week. I don't know why.
You weren't a part of the show, Taco.
I know. I was fucking around.
But Jader Framo is one of those, is like Janine was before this season started, where it's like, this guy just needs to like break through to that next step. Even though he was doing great last season, it was like he needs that next step. So going into this, I was like, this is gonna be a killer match. But you know, I gotta rep Zip. I've always been a big fan of his, and I was so happy when he got that perfect round. But then it was just so tough watching the rest of it. But it was great watching Jader show exactly what he's got. And this was also a great showing for both Kate and Winston as managers in terms of just their character work. From all the voices Winston's doing to you can be a hater or you can ride with Jader. And it's like all that shit was fantastic.
Yeah.
Dude, Winston was on fire during that match. I got that written on my notes right here. I wrote
Fire?
Winston was on fire. I did write that. It's on the what do you call that? The side next to it? Yeah.
Margins.
Yeah, on the
Winston's
margin.
one of
I
those
wrote-
guys.
wrote on
Winston's
the
one of those
margin.
guys. Like he's like sort of streaky. I mean, overall, he's like really super good.
I love
But
Winston.
you're right. There's those moments where like he's in the groove, and you can't be no better than Winston. Like Winston is the best
Like-
sometimes.
How Dave feels about Zipper, I feel that way about Hurricane. I love the idea that he was just literally plucked out of the crowd, all that stuff. But yeah, I think it was beginning of this year. He did it was either I get rundown and backstage mixed together, but he did one of those where he talked about like becoming a firefighter for his son and all this stuff, and like it made me fall in love with this character, like him as a person, so much. And not only that, but you can tell that he cares and that he studies and that he's really good. So I drafted him, I think, in both of my fantasy teams for a reason, and I'm really glad that he came to play. And that's all.
Yeah. I feel like this was almost a must win for both of them.
Yeah.
And it just broke my heart.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want Dipper to win, but at the same time, I'm very happy for Jader. Because
Yeah,
He's
Jader
had
is
a lot of 2 must wins. They often.
This was one of those matches for me that I really love seeing every year. Every year when we get to December and we're talking about the awards, we're like, which Dan Murrell match was the best match? But every year I'm like, it's those mid-tier player matches where, and I think when we talk about the matches and stuff every week, sometimes when it's like, okay, everyone went perfect, went to sudden death, or they just checked down, it's like not a lot to talk about. But when it's a back and forth tug of war, this guy's up, then this guy's up, and it's like, are they going to get it? They both crush. They both do really well in round 2, crush round 3, and you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. It's why I really love players and matches like this who fall into that like Stacey Howard area where they're so good, but they're never going to compete for a belt, and every match they play is going to be super competitive.
Well, that's
Yeah.
very well said.
Very true.
Anybody else have anything about this match? Because we have gone on for a little bit over 2 hours. One of our longer episodes.
Am I the only person who had Zipper's 5-pointer?
What was his 5-pointer again?
It was in 1990s comedic. I think they said war, but it was Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. were in a
it's,
movie together.
Like I didn't know the name right off the bat, but as soon as they
I
said
had
it,
it.
I knew what they were trying. I
As
was
soon as
trying
they
to.
said it.
I was thinking
Air
about
America.
A bird. Like I was
Yeah.
thinking about like I started. It was crazy because I went like a bird, then I went like to a plane, and I was like, God, what was crap?
Yeah.
And I just remembered the scene where the plane's going through this like kind of like a ravine, like with all the trees and stuff, but like the river in the middle. There was like that scene where the plane does that, and I was like, man, what? And I just couldn't remember that. I couldn't remember the name. But
It was Air America, and I have a small. It was one of those like you have to have a weird ass memory to know it. Like you could have studied this. This is such a crazy 5-pointer. But like my stepdad, who was got me into movies, and we watched he tried to get me to watch Air America. He's like, this is really funny. I remember nothing about it, but I do remember it's like one of the first times I ever saw Robert Downey Jr. Like I only saw him in like Back to School and something random.
I mean, I
just remember them landing, and I don't think it's the same scene, but they were like flying and they were coming up to like a runway that was up a mountain, and he's like, you can't land a plane on that. That's all I remember. It's like the first 1 minute, but I pulled it.
Yeah.
So random.
So with that being said, anybody else got anything about this match, or are we done? Because like I said, we've been gone over 2 hours. It's been one of our long episodes recently.
That's
But
what
fun,
happens
though.
in the
Have
North
fun.
States,
Time
man.
flies by when you're fun.
My fault.
No, that's all good, dude. I love this. I had a great time. Like I didn't mind it whatsoever. But as we go to get out of here, we'll start with the guests and stuff like that. Nancy, I know you're on one of the newer shows with like Vernon, I think it is. Is it? Yeah.
Vernon,
yeah. If you will tell us about your show and like what you're doing and everything else, and then we'll go through and let everybody announce what they do and promote themselves.
Yeah, so you can find me at PL_Band-Aid on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find me over at a fan's view of the FCL with Vernon. Typically, our shows release on Friday, and we review all the FCL stuff, matches, typically have guests on from whatever match was on that week. This week, we are doing our very first live show on Wednesday. We're thinking around 6 p.m. We're going to have a ton of guests. And try to make it like a big hangout essentially. So please come check that out. Like I said, it'll be our first live show, so it'd be very exciting. So yeah, fans of FCL.
As Vernon learned here in the recent past, do not give out the StreamYards to one of the LGR guys because we all showed up for his little test run thing. We had like 8 or 9 people during that
Freaking
episode.
work on that night, man.
Yeah, we had people that don't even show up on our show, like Alex and stuff, showing up. It was pretty crazy. But like,
Please show up again for our live show. That'd be great.
Nice. Taco and Dave, man. One of y'all promote the shows that y'all do over there, and then y'all can both promote like your Twitters or whatever y'all want to do.
I got it.
Dave, do all the important stuff.
Yeah. So make sure that you follow us over at Schmoes in the North. We've had a great time coming over here. You'll have a great time if you come over to us because we have all kinds of amazing programming happening pretty much every day now. We recently joined up with the Media Sweaties Network, so we got TV reviews, just talking shit with guests. We're doing all kinds of non-Schmoedown related stuff along with every Friday and Sunday. We're going live to break down the pay-per-view, the matches that happen. We have career breakdowns with Mount Schmoedown on Saturdays. We keep almost bringing back Northern Consultations, which is our interview show with guests, but we are all just so busy. That'll happen, I promise.
One day.
One day. Also, make sure you go over and subscribe. We're sitting at about 225 subscribers right now. We want to hit 250 by Collision. That would be a great dream of ours, and I'd win $5. So that would be a big get for me personally. It'd be a favor to me. And Taco, I didn't mention your show because
I got it.
A fantastic show.
And by the way, that's $5 in Canadian money, so it's like way more. But anyways, I do a show on Saturday, which is tomorrow. I'm actually my wife and daughter are leaving tomorrow, so I'm doing all the podcasts I can. I'm doing 6 this week, which is a lot for me because I normally do 1 or 2. And at the end of my day tomorrow, my 4th of the day will be my Star Wars show, which is Let's Taco About Star Wars. And what's up? What? Hambone. What? You got a name like Hambone and you're judging me? All right. Okay. You're mad that you didn't think of it. That's all that is. So tomorrow we're actually breaking down. We do a lot of Star Wars versus videos. So we do a lot of really, really deep lore. This isn't just reviewing the movies. We do really deep dives into Star Wars lore. And we're actually doing Plo Koon versus Darth Zana. I wrote the script this morning. It's going to be an amazing show. Yeah, Darth Bane's apprentice. What's up, Darth Zana? I wrote up a pretty awesome script. Probably too long. I'm going to get the producer mad. But yeah, so that's tomorrow. And my co-host is none other than Gold Leader is our co-host.
Nice.
And it's awesome. He is he is way cooler than he is in the Schmoedown.
I love his laugh, by the way.
A constant.
anyway.
He's all smiles and laughs. That's all that guy is. I love him.
Go ahead, Danny.
Look, you can always find me here on Let's Get Ready, doing all crazy video stuffs, hosting here, and very glad that we finally finished our financial deal that Let's Get Ready is buying Schmoes of the North. We are buying a fans view of the FCL.
Oh,
we
my
are becoming
goodness.
the Let's Get Ready conglomerate, guys.
I can get rid of this Took and this Canadian stuff. I'm finally American again.
Oh, wow.
No, it's brought by this
Congratulations, Taco.
Brazilian guy.
But no, like here we go, man. We do a lot over here as well. We got the website, which is super great that Adelia does like magic with, whatever. Sad I wish I could help her out more with that, but like I got a lot of stuff that I do being a single father and working, and plus doing a lot of stuff for this channel. Like besides what we do on Friday nights when we talk about the Schmoedown. We got the gold standard here on Tuesday nights, unless we have to change it for some reason, but it's normally on Tuesday nights. They do a great job over there, where Adelia and Amber's kind of taking control of that show and making it their own over there. And every day this week, pretty much every day last week, because we've had a lot of trailers, a lot of stuff starting to come out, movies and stuff. I'm doing basically going to the movies with Hambone, because every time I actually go and physically go watch a movie, like if it's at the theater and whatnot, the only one I've done that's a little different was the Tomorrow Wars. I found that kind of interesting, so I wanted to do something for it. So I've got that review coming out. But anytime I go to the movies and go watch a movie in the theater, I sit my butt in a theater chair. I'm going to be doing a review on what I think about it and stuff like that. So I've done like Fast 9, Forever Purge. Going to be doing a Black Widow when I get to go see it and everything else. So that's really cool. I'm doing a bunch of trailer reactions. Some of them, whatever, like I like to do true reactions, people, like where it's I do truly watch the trailer for the first time. I don't know anything too much about it. There are some that I can have some fun with because I know I'm going to probably love it, which like Mortal Kombat trailer and stuff like that, for instance. But like when I do a trailer reaction, some of them's going to be like really goofy and funny. Some of them's going to be maybe a little boring because I'm going to give you my true reaction. I don't like giving fake reactions. I like being real with you guys. But thank you guys, everybody that supports us, everybody that has subscribed to us on YouTube's, everybody who's followed us on Twitch, everybody that listens to us on any podcast format. Like Ferris names them all, but look, dude, if you got a podcast format,
Google Podcast, Anchor,
we're on there. Okay, you can go listen to us, and we've actually gotten a lot of like
the National Brazilian Podcast Network.
I think the last time I think Ferris was talking about it, like we're over like 5,000 or so listens on podcast. Man, dude, thank you guys. We did this thing thinking maybe 5 people watch, and we've grown to become something bigger than that. And everything else. And we love the community. We love talking about it. We love trying to be real. We love trying to be just true fans and having fun about what we talk about and everything else. No, is everything the greatest all the time? Nope, but we do our best. And like I said, we're here to have fun. We hope we have fun, and we show that, and it comes through the screen for you guys that watch. So if you can, like, subscribe, comment on any of our videos, whether it's the reviews, whether it's these shows right here that we're doing right here, like on the Friday night shows and everything else. These guys were super fantastic. Nancy, she may be even better than Eric. I thought one more go with Nancy, and maybe we'll find out, because you were really super good, Nancy. Thank you for coming on.
You are.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
From Smoke North. Like, dude, y'all did a fantastic job as well. I love talking to you. This is going to be something. If I had my
in
choice,
your country next year.
if I had my choice from now on, like you guys are more than welcome to join on more occasions than that. Like sometimes we get trapped into trying to have guests from the Schmoedown every single time, but sometimes, man, it's cool to sit back and just enjoy talking with you fans. So until next time, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
It's for real.
Bye.
Hello, I'm ready.
Thank you for watching the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmoedown podcast. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.